Chapter 34 20,000 years. The dust had settled in the Blood Clan. Jianwu and the others had also left the Blood Clan. After greeting Zhui Yunfeng and the others, Jianwu planned to leave the Demon Realm and go to the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. When he left, Jianwu glanced at Demon Master Chenhuo and asked, "Chenhuo, are you really going to leave your disciple alone in the Demon Realm?" "Of course." Demon Master Chenhuo nodded. "I've taught him many things and given him many opportunities over the years. His strength has improved a lot, so it's time for him to go on his own. After all, the level of our contact is too high for him. If he continues to follow us, he won't get any experience on the way. It's better for him to go on his own. It'll be more effective." "That's true, but he's still weak. The Demon Realm is too chaotic and the experts are too weak. Isn't it too dangerous for him to travel alone?" Jianwu said. "Humph, so what if it's dangerous? If you want to become a real expert, which one of you didn't come through a mountain of knives and a sea of fire? I was like that in the past. Aren't you the same?" Demon Master Chenhuo glanced at Jianwu. "You're right." Jianwu nodded with a smile. After explaining Jianwu, Demon Master Chenhuo and Spirit Ancestor went directly to the second heaven. When Jianwu entered the third heaven, the power of the will of the heavenly Tao immediately sensed it. Now that he left the third heaven, the power of the will of the heavenly Tao also knew about it. It was transmitted to the few masters of the Saint Realm. In the vast chaotic void, 4 hazy figures gathered together. These 4 people were naturally the 3 masters of the Saint Realm and the Sorcerer God. "We just received the news from the power of the will of heaven. Heavenly Sword Marquis has returned to the second heaven," Flame Saint Master said. "Has he finally left?" Life and Death Saint Master asked in a low voice. Although Heavenly Sword Marquis didn't stay for long in the third heaven, he created huge waves in the Demon Realm within a short period of time. The Nine-Tailed Clan and the Blood Clan underwent drastic changes one after another. The situation in the Demon Realm now is completely different from before. These changes in the Demon Realm are nothing. I was worried that Heavenly Sword Marquis would think of ways to take revenge on the 3 great saint regions after he came to the third heaven. But now, it seems that he still has a trace of rationality and didn't attack the 3 great saint realms, Destruction Saint Master said. "Humph, that's because he isn't stupid. Even though the 3 great saint realms cannot do anything to him with his strength, even if he has Demon Master Chenhuo by his side, he is still far from posing a threat to the 3 great saint realms." Flame Saint Realm said coldly. "Just him alone and Demon Master Chenhuo are naturally not enough. But what if we add Star Palace?" Life and Death Saint Master suddenly spoke. "Star Palace." The moment the 2 words Star Palace were mentioned, the entire primal chaos void went silent. After a long while, Life and Death Saint Master continued, "Star Palace, the greatest threat to us has already begun to contact Heavenly Sword Marquis. According to the information we have received, the reason why Heavenly Sword Marquis was able to create such a huge wave in the Demon Realm was because of the 3 Principals Masters of Star Palace giving their all to help. As for the 3 Principals Masters of Star Palace, even though we do not know their names for the time being, we can be certain that these 3 have already reached the 6th level of the Void. The 6 realms of the Void, even our 3 great saint realms, can be counted with one's fingers. But this Star Palace casually sent out 3 of them. What does this mean?" Flame Saint Realm and Destruction Saint Master's eyes immediately turned cold. The 6 realms of the Void might not have many Principals Masters in the entire Divine Beginning Realm, yet the Star Palace could send out 3 of them at once. This made them apprehensive. "Humph, back then when I found out about the existence of this Star Palace, I had a bad premonition. Unfortunately, that mysterious god is extremely cunning. He placed the base of the Star Palace in that place, making it impossible for the powers of the 3 great saint realms to reach that place. We can only try our best to suppress the growth of this Star Palace." I did not expect that after so many years of suppression, the growth rate of this Star Palace would still be so astonishing. Until now, the power of this Star Palace is probably not much weaker than any of our saint realms. It might even be stronger. Destruction Saint Master snorted coldly. The Star Palace was indeed a huge threat to them. However, this huge threat had existed for many years, but the 3 saint realms could not do anything about it. It's useless to talk about this now. However, the Star Palace and Heavenly Sword Marquis aren't able to do anything about it. There's no need to be anxious. The 3 saint realms have already received the exact news, Flame Saint Realm said. "Visit Riedel. Me for extra chapters." "The news?" The others immediately looked over. "What do you mean?" Destruction Saint Master asked. 20,000 years, at most 20,000 years. The people there will arrive at the divine beginning realm. At that time, both Heavenly Sword Marquis and the Star Palace will be eradicated, Flame Saint Realm said. That's great. Destruction Saint Master's eyes brightened. 20,000 years, isn't that a bit too long? Life and Death Saint Master frowned. That Heavenly Sword Marquis is improving at an astonishing speed. 20,000 years, he has a lot of room to grow. See you, Life and Death, aren't you overestimating that Heavenly Sword Marquis too much? Even if he is a perfect grade life form with extraordinary talent, given his current strength, given 20,000 years, how much can he grow to? Flame Saint Realm sneered. It's already very good that he can match up to a ruler like his deceased master. Don't forget that Mystic One took a very long time to reach the ruler level. Flame Saint Realm snickered. That's true. Life and Death Saint Master nodded slightly. Alright, since that's the case, well, just wait for another 20,000 years. During these 20,000 years, well, all be careful and try not to take the initiative to have any conflicts with Heavenly Sword Marquis, especially you, Sorcerer God. Destruction Saint Master looked toward the Sorcerer God who had remained silent all this while. Your Sorcerer God sect has been a little restless all these years. And this time in the Demon Realm, I heard that your Sorcerer God sect has also gotten involved. It's nothing. The Sorcerer God laughed dryly. It's just that one of my subordinates, the Blood Clan, has some friendship and decided on his own accord. Is that so? Destruction Saint Master glanced coldly at the Sorcerer God. Of course. The three of you have already instructed us before. Naturally, our Sorcerer God sect will not be blind. At this critical juncture, our relationship with Heavenly Sword Marquis has soared to the sky. However, this time in the Blood Clan's matter, I've also obtained another piece of information. That is the Life Fall King from the Tsang Heaven world, and Elder Dark Bone. It seems that they are also on Heavenly Sword Marquis' side. The Sorcerer God said. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 3500 Lowest Risk Life Fall King? Elder Dark Bone? Hearing these two names, even the three Saint Realm Masters' faces darkened. Life Fall King is an extremely powerful ruler from the outside world, and he also comes from the Tsang Heaven world. However, he is an expert from the outside world after all, so he will be greatly suppressed by the Heavenly Tao in the Divine Beginning realm. His strength will also be greatly weakened. To put it bluntly, even the three of us Saint Realm Masters can easily suppress him in the Divine Beginning realm. If the three of us join hands, we can even kill him. He should also know this, so he shouldn't be so stupid as to stand on the side of Heavenly Sword Marquis, Flame Saint Realm said. Yes, he is a mighty ruler who can call the wind and summon the rain in the universe battlefield. There is no need for him to come to the Divine Beginning realm to take risks. As for the Tsang Heaven world behind him, although it isn't weak, it is too far away from the Divine Beginning realm. It doesn't have the right to meddle in the internal affairs of our Divine Beginning realm, Destruction Saint Master said. Sorcerer God, are you sure that Life Fall King is completely on Heavenly Sword Marquis' side? Life and Death Saint Master looked at Sorcerer God. Well, I can't say for sure because in the Battle of the Blood Kindred Life Fall King didn't make a big move at first. But later, because one of my subordinates used the secret technique of the Fantasy Alliance, he decided that my subordinate had an inseparable relationship with the Fantasy Alliance, so he went all out, Sorcerer God said. That's it. Life and Death Saint Master smiled. The Fantasy Alliance and the Tsang Heaven world are mortal enemies. If he sees someone related to the Fantasy Alliance, he will not let them go. It seems like this Life Fall King doesn't want to meddle in the internal affairs of the Divine Beginning realm. He only acted because of your subordinate, Destruction Saint Master said. I knew it. A ruler shouldn't be so stupid, Flame Saint Realm snorted. You don't need to care about this Life Fall King, but that Elder Dark Bone is a little tricky, Life and Death Saint Master said coldly. When we were on Saha Island, our three great holy realms set up an inescapable net to kill Heavenly Sword Marquis. At that time, Elder Dark Bone helped Heavenly Sword Marquis get out of danger. Although at that time he said it was just to return a favor for his disciple. But is it really worth him to offend our three great holy realms with just a favor for a disciple? At that time I felt that his actions were a little strange. This time he appeared to help the Heavenly Sword Marquis. It seems that he is indeed on the Heavenly Sword Marquis side. It seems that this old thing is also restless. Flame Saint Realm snorted coldly. That's normal. He's someone from the same era as Temporal Temple Master and Heaven Cleaving Alliance Master. He's extremely old and has stayed in the divine beginning realm for God knows how many years. Moreover, his strength has already reached the peak of the principal's masters. With his strength reaching this level and being alone, he should have no qualms about going to the depths of the universe to explore. However, after so many years he has been staying here. How could he not have other motives? Destruction Saint Master narrowed his eyes. Now it seems that the old ghost bone has chosen to stay. It is likely to be related to the Star Palace. This old thing, the eyes of the three masters of the Saint Realm were cold, but at the same time they were helpless. Elder Dark Bone was famous for his tyrannical methods. Even if he was facing a true ruler-level expert in a cosmic battlefield, he could still survive. However, in the divine beginning realm, just the three of them, it's almost impossible to kill a ghoul. Just as they could not do anything to Jianghu, they could not do anything to Elder Dark Bone. Forget it, let them be proud for a while. After 20,000 years, when the people there arrive, they will uproot the Star Palace, the Heavenly Sword Marquis and the Elder Dark Bone. This time, we must get rid of all the things left behind by the seven-star mysterious sect. We must not leave any trouble behind. The three masters of the Saint Realm had already made their decision, and they quickly disappeared into the chaotic void. As for the sorcerer god, after the three masters of the Saint Realm disappeared, he also gave a strange smile and disappeared with them. Second heaven, Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. After leaving the third heaven, Jianghu, Demon Master Chenhuo, and Spirit Ancestor came straight here. After they arrived, Jianghu directly sent a message to the old valley master, Mai Yi, who led them into the hinterland of the valley. My young friend, I heard that you have caused a lot of trouble in the demon realm recently? Mai Yi asked casually. Visit Rietal. Me for extra chapters. Yes, senior, do you know about it? Jianghu glanced at Mai Yi. Of course, although I have long ignored the matters in the valley, once something big happens in the divine beginning realm, someone will inform me immediately, especially you. Of course, I, the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, also care about it. Mai Yi smiled. I heard that you went to the Blood Clan and killed the clan leader of the Blood Clan? If I'm not wrong, you went to kill the clan leader because of Spirit Ancestor, right? Yes. Jianghu nodded. Killing the clan leader was a condition set by Spirit Ancestor. Now that the condition has been met, Spirit Ancestor will follow me to the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. Senior Hempi, with Spirit Ancestor's knowledge of the soul, you should be able to minimize the risk by stripping Shuang'er's soul, right? Of course, although I have stayed in the valley all year round, I have heard of the great name of the Spirit Ancestor. In the divine beginning realm, in terms of the attainments in the soul, the previous clan leader of the nine-tailed clan, Daing, and the Spirit Ancestor of the Heavenly Ancestor Taoist sect were the two strongest. However, now that Daing is dead, the Spirit Ancestor has the highest attainments in the soul in the absolute beginning divine tribulation. If she were to take action personally, the risk would naturally be the lowest. Mai Yi smiled. In fact, Daing had a good relationship with the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. He was also good friends with Mai Yi. When he first decided to strip Lung Rushuang's soul, Mai Yi wanted to ask Daing for help. However, because of Jianghu he had to give up. He did not expect that the world was unpredictable and that Daing was already dead. Moreover, her death was largely caused by Jianghu. However, De Ying's death was closely related to Jianghu. However, Mai Yi and the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley would not have any prejudice or resentment toward Jianghu after all. Their relationship with Daing was not good enough to avenge Daing. My young friend, have you prepared the 100-million-year Star Moon Agarwood? Mai Yi asked. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 3501 Unfamiliar. I've sent a message to Temple Master Star Moon, and she has sent someone to deliver it. It should be arriving at the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley in a few days, Jianghu said. In that case it's almost ready. As soon as the Star Moon Agarwood arrives, we can begin the soul stripping immediately, Mai Yi said. Jianghu nodded slightly. 3 days later, the people of the Temporal Temple had arrived at the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. The person who had arrived was Jianghu's subordinate, True Pupil Master. Greetings, Inspector and Honorable Master. True Pupil Master bowed respectfully to Jianghu and Demon Master Chenhuo. True Pupil Master, thank you for your hard work. Jianghu waved his hand. Inspector, this is what Star Moon Temple Master asked me to give you. True Pupil Master gave Jianghu an interspatial ring. The interspatial ring contained the Star Moon Agarwood. Jian Wushuang took it, glanced at it and handed it to Mai. "Senior Mai, how is it?" Jian Wushuang asked. "This star moon agar wood is more than 200 million years old. It's definitely a top-grade wood," Mai said. Jian Wushuang nodded with satisfaction. Then he asked, "True pupil master, the temporal temple has been quiet during my absence. How is the patrol team?" "1. My lord, nothing serious has happened in the temporal temple. Even the patrol team has been very relaxed. They sent out a patrol team a while ago, but it was just a small matter and was easily solved. Star Moon Temple Master has already told us that we won't ask you to come out for ordinary matters. As long as it's really important or urgent, we will call you back," True Pupil Master said. Jian Wushuang could not help but smile. He was the 6th inspector of the temporal temple, but apart from the first trip to the Purple Star Demon sect, he was not in the camp for the rest of the time. He was not qualified to be an inspector. However, the higher-ups of the temporal temple knew that what he needed the most was to improve his strength. Although it was not an important matter, they would not ask him to help. "Inspector, Star Moon Temple Master sent me here for another matter besides handing over the Star Moon Agarwood to you," True Pupil Master suddenly said. "Oh, what is it?" Jian Wushuang asked. "This matter has something to do with Master Consecrator." True Pupil Master looked at Demon Master Chenhuo beside him. "It has something to do with me, don't tell me?" Demon Master Chenhuo was stunned for a moment before he revealed an excited look. "Could it be that you have found information about the experts left behind by the Purple Star Demon sect?" Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. Demon Master Chenhuo came from the Purple Star Demon sect. However, the Purple Star Demon sect had been destroyed 200 million years ago by Flame Saint Master. At its peak, the Purple Star Demon sect was an extremely powerful force and an overlord in the second heaven. It was not much weaker than the 8 Directions Heaven sect in the third heaven. Such a large sect not only had great strength, but also had an extraordinary foundation. Back then, the Flame Saint realm used a lightning-fast method to destroy the Purple Star Demon sect. Although they destroyed the Purple Star Demon sect's headquarters and killed almost all the experts in the Purple Star Demon sect's headquarters, however, those Purple Star Demon sect experts who had been adventuring in the outside world were not killed in that great battle. Although the experts were later hunted by the Flame Saint realm, some of them must have escaped and survived. However, under the pressure of the Flame Saint realm, they had to live in anonymity. After Demon Master Chenhuo and Jian Wushuang reached an agreement and saw the light of day again, Demon Master Chenhuo became a worshipper of the Temporal Temple. The Temporal Temple immediately began to help Demon Master Chenhuo track down the traces of the cultivators left behind by the Purple Star Demon sect. Until now there was finally news. Our Temporal Temple has indeed found a portion of the experts left behind. And they are now in the second heaven, True Pupil Master said. "That's great." Demon Master Chenhuo clenched his hands tightly, his eyes filled with joy. Visit Rietal. Me for extra chapters. He had once treated the Purple Star Demon sect as everything. It was precisely because of this that he was willing to be trapped in that secret realm alone for 200 million years. With his talent, 200 million years was a huge delay for him. The destruction of the Purple Star Demon sect had dealt a huge blow to him. Now he finally received good news. He had found the experts left behind by the Purple Star Demon sect. "Chenhuo, congratulations." Jian Wushuang smiled and said, "It won't take long for my soul to be extracted. After everything is done here, he'll ask the True Pupil Master to take us with him." "Okay." Demon Master Chenhuo nodded heavily. "Senior Mai, Spirit Ancestor, the Star Moon Agarwood has arrived. The rest is up to you," Jian Wushuang said. Mai and Spirit Ancestor looked at each other and nodded. Then they went straight to the love-forgetting peak in the Supreme Emotion-forgetting Valley. In a cave mansion on the mountainside, Jian Wushuang finally saw his wife, Lung Rushuang. She had a familiar face and a cold aura. The peerless beauty in front of him sat calmly on the jade bed. When she saw everyone enter, she slowly opened her eyes, which were cold and emotionless. She glanced at everyone. Of course, she also glanced at Jian Wushuang, but her expression did not change at all. "Shuang-er." Jian Wushuang's voice was hoarse, but he immediately shook his head and said, "No, she is not Shuang-er. She only has the same face." Jian Wushuang had long calmed down. He knew very well that the peerless beauty in front of him was indeed not his wife, but a stranger. After all, his wife's memory in her previous life had been completely sealed, but in this life she was completely unfamiliar and did not know him at all. Even her body was from this life. His wife's real body was not this one, but the one that had been occupied by Lung Rushue in his previous life. That was his wife's real body. Therefore when Ma Yi proposed to strip her soul, he did not refuse. He was even willing to give up his body in this life. To Jian Wushuang, Lung Rushwang's body in this life, including her consciousness, were extremely unfamiliar. They were not familiar to him. Only by stripping out the memories of his wife's previous life, along with her soul, would it truly belong to his wife. In the future, when he had the opportunity to find Lung Rushuang and seize her body, then his wife would be truly complete. Only then would she be truly complete. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 3502 Divestiture. Since everything is in place, Spirit Ancestor, let's begin, Ma Yi said. Spirit Ancestor nodded. Girl, sit down. Don't resist, Ma Yi instructed. Lung Rushuang sat down. Her gaze was calm and her expression did not change at all. Spirit Ancestor took a deep breath, and then a vast soul power covered Lung Rushuang. Jian Wushuang was not familiar with soul peeling, and his attainments in soul were not high, so he could not help. He could only watch anxiously. Unfortunately, soul peeling was done inside the soul, he could not see anything with the naked eye. But it had to be said that both Ma Yi and Spirit Ancestor had extremely high attainments in soul. It was not that they had not tried soul peeling before, so they were more familiar with the steps. Time continued to pass. After half a day, sweat could be seen on the foreheads of both Ma Yi and Spirit Ancestor. They had no choice but to concentrate on the soul and have a perfect grasp of the soul power. They did not dare to relax even a bit. After a long time they would naturally be a little tired. But fortunately, everything went extremely smoothly. It's about time. Prepare the Star Moon Agarwood, said the Spirit Ancestor. Ma Yi immediately waved her hand, and 2 Star Moon Agarwood floated out. One of these 2 Star Moon Agarwood came from the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. Although it was also 100 million years old, its volume wasn't too big. And the Star Moon Agarwood from the Spacetime Divine Palace, in terms of volume, it was more than 3 times the size of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley's one, and it was even older. Just a little bit more, and it'll be completely separated. The Spirit Ancestor's expression was very grave. Under her control, Lung Rushwang's soul had already been divided into 2, but these 2 souls had yet to be completely separated. There was still some connection between them. But right at this moment, the Spirit Ancestor's gaze focused, and the soul force that she extended into Lung Rushwang's body suddenly became incomparably warm. This warm soul force was like a mother's hand. It caressed the 2 souls of Lung Rushuang. Then the 2 souls of Lung Rushuang were completely peeled off. A faint cyan light extended out of Lung Rushwang's body. This cyan light was the other soul that had been extracted from Lung Rushwang's body. This soul carried Lung Rushwang's memories from her previous life and was Jian Wushuang's wife's soul. Quick, use the Star Moon Agarwood, Spirit Ancestor shouted. Once the soul was extracted, the 2 souls would be at their weakest stage. They needed to use the Star Moon Agarwood to nourish them. If they were a moment slower, they might cause damage to both of Lung Rushwang's souls. Ma Yi knew this, so she immediately controlled the 2 pieces of Star Moon Agarwood and flew toward Lung Rushwang's body and the extracted soul. The first was the relatively small Star Moon Agarwood. Under Ma Yi's control, it directly transformed into a vast green-colored air current that surged into Lung Rushwang's body. The other large Star Moon Agarwood did not disintegrate. Instead, it appeared beside the green-colored light. After which, the green-colored light seemed to be attracted as it directly merged into the Star Moon Agarwood and disappeared. It worked. Upon seeing this, Ma Yi's eyes lit up. Spirit Ancestor also heaved a sigh of relief and smiled. Jian Wushuang, who had been watching the process anxiously from behind, immediately walked over and asked, "Is it over? My dear Heavenly Sword Marquis, I have dissected her soul according to your request. One of the pieces contains the memories of this life and the secret skill she cultivated. The other piece contains the memories of her previous life. It has been dissected and merged with the Star Moon Agarwood," Spirit Ancestor said. At the same time, he brought the Star Moon Agarwood to Jian Wushuang. "Shuang Heir's soul is in the Star Moon Agarwood?" Jian Wushuang took the wood and gently stroked it. As he touched it, he immediately felt that the Star Moon Agarwood seemed to have a life of its own. At the same time, his soul power also sensed the soul aura in the Star Moon Agarwood. The soul aura indeed belonged to his wife. It did not contain any impurities, nor did it contain any memories of this life. It was completely the same as the soul aura of his previous life. Visit Readle.me for extra chapters. Shuang this is my Shuang Jianwu Shuang was extremely excited, but then he frowned and asked, "What's going on? Why hasn't Shuang consciousness awakened?" Even in the soul state there was still consciousness. However, at this moment, Jianwu Shuang clearly did not sense the existence of Lung Rushuang's consciousness. "My dear Heavenly Sword Marquis, what you want is your wife's consciousness from her previous life. Her consciousness and memories from her previous life have always been in a state of deep sleep and had never awakened. Now that her soul has just been stripped, her soul is in an extremely weak stage, so it's even more difficult for her to awaken her consciousness," Spirit Ancestor replied. "But don't worry. Even if her consciousness won't wake up for a while, as long as her soul is in the star moon Agarwood and is nourished by it, she will be able to recover her consciousness and her previous memories. As for the time required for this process, it should not be too long. It can be as short as hundreds or thousands of years, or as long as tens of thousands of years. It can definitely be recovered." "Is that so?" Jianwu Shuang nodded secretly. Although his wife's consciousness did not wake up immediately, Jianwu Shuang still had some feelings. In any case, his wife's soul had been completely peeled out, and it was only a matter of time before her consciousness woke up. Next, he just needed to find a suitable body for his wife. Jianwu Shuang had two choices for this body. One was to find the ice heart glazed jade, which could form a glazed body and perfectly fuse with Lung Rushuang's soul. There would that the ice heart glazed jade was extremely rare, it was not easy to find it. The second method was to find Lung Rushua. Lung Ruksha's body was her own. As long as he found her, erased her consciousness, and let her take over the body again, there would be no incompatibility between the body and the soul. Among the two methods, Jianwu Shuang preferred the second one. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 3503 Purple Blood Sect Outside the Valley. Heavenly Marquis will send you here. If you need my help in the future, please feel free to let me know, Mai said with a smile. You're welcome, Senior. If anything happens to the valley in the future, you can look for me. After all, we both have a common enemy, Jianwu Shuang said with a smile. He knew that the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley had a great enmity with the Destruction Saint Realm, one of the three Saint Realms. The Destruction Saint Realm was a great enemy of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. The Destruction Saint Realm had some misgivings because of Mai. However, if one day Mai died, the Destruction Saint Realm would definitely attack the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley without hesitation. Even so, the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley and Jianwu Shuang indeed had a common enemy and had a chance to stand on the same side. Spirit Ancestor, he'll have to trouble you this time. Jianwu Shuang looked at Spirit Ancestor again. You must be joking. You killed the Blood Master for me. I really can't repay your kindness, Spirit Ancestor said with a smile. After exchanging a few pleasantries, they parted ways and left. Mai returned to Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, and Spirit Ancestor also went to the Heaven Ancestor Taoist sect. As for Jianwu Shuang, he went with Demon Master Chenhuo and True Pupil Master to the place where the experts left by the Purple Star Demon sect were. On the way, Jianwu Shuang and Demon Master Chenhuo began to ask questions. Of course, True Pupil Master told them everything he knew. Sirs, according to the information from the Temporal Temple, after the destruction of the Purple Star Demon sect, some people were lucky enough to escape and survive. There were more than 100 experts who survived. Later, they gathered together to discuss it, but in the end, they separated because of different opinions, True Pupil Master said. Different opinions? Jianwu Shuang was puzzled. It's like this. Among the hundreds of experts who were lucky enough to survive, some of them thought that they were still being hunted by the Flame Saint Realm and that it was not suitable for them to stay in the third heaven. Therefore, they thought that it was most appropriate for them to go into hiding in the Endless Territory. However, if they did so, it would mean that they would not try to rise again in the future. After all, the cultivation environment of the Endless Territories is incomparable to that of the third heaven. If they choose to hide in the Endless Territories, they will only be able to find a place to dominate in the Endless Territories in the future. There is no possibility of them rising up in the third heaven. There are still some people who advocate splitting up and growing up separately. If one of them is lucky enough to become a peak expert in the future, we will organize them and raise them up again. These people are in the minority. After all, there aren't many of them left and there aren't many who are strong. If they go on their own, it will be too difficult for anyone to become a peak expert. The last group of people chose to stay in the third heaven and remain in the second heaven, right under the eyes of the Flame Saint realm. However, the most dangerous place might be the safest. As long as they carefully conceal their identities, the Flame Saint realm might not be able to find them. Moreover, once the news is out, they could completely change their appearance and create a new faction to pass down the legacy. This way, their chances of rising again in the future would be great. Over 100 people who survived had 3 different opinions. Many people supported these opinions and argued with each other. In the end, they split into 3 groups. Those who went to the Endless Territories went to the Endless Territories, those who went alone, and some stayed in the second heaven. Bastard! Upon hearing this, Demon Master Chenhuo was a bit shocked and angry. The sect has already been destroyed. At this time they still can't unite? There's nothing we can do. After all, those who simply survived, although their strength is different, there aren't any experts who can completely convince others. Without a backbone, it's normal for a few different voices to appear. True Pupil Master said, and later, as they lost their composure and developed, it proved that the final portion of people who chose to stay in the second heaven was correct. They stayed in the second heaven and were not discovered by the Flame Saint realm. First they kept a low profile and grew stronger. Later on, 3 experts appeared among them. They are Tomb King Qiumu, Master Lingfeng, and Skyheart Sword Saint. Among them, Tomb King Qiumu has reached the 3rd level of the Void Realm. Master Lingfeng is weaker, but he is also a Principal's Master at the peak of the 2nd level of the Void Realm. As for Skyheart Sword Saint, he is also an invincible saint. As the 3 of them grew stronger, they founded a sect called the Purple Blood Sect. Visit Readle.me for extra chapters. Due to the fact that the Purple Blood Sect has 2 Principal's Masters and an invincible saint like the Skyheart Sword Saint, the Purple Blood Sect has attracted many cultivators. Their strength has also gradually grown, and they have gradually established themselves in the second heaven. Although they are not considered the top forces in the second heaven, they can still be considered to be in the middle range. Qiumu, Lingfeng, and Skyheart. The Demon Master Chenhuo was excited. I could tell that these 3 little fellows were quite talented when they were in the Purple Star Demon Sect. They will definitely have great achievements in the future. It seems that this is indeed the case. The 2 of them have become the Principal's Masters, and Skyheart has become an invincible saint. Ha! The Demon Master Chenhuo laughed very happily. He had always been worried about whether there were any experts left in the Purple Star Demon Sect. He was not confident at all. But now he finally knew the whereabouts of the experts left behind by the Purple Star Demon Sect. And these experts did not disappoint him. Although they were not able to bring the Purple Star Demon Sect to rise again, at the very least, they were able to give the Purple Star Demon Sect an additional inheritance. This was already very good. Honorable Sir, the Purple Blood Sect has existed for a relatively long period of time in the second heavenly layer. Originally there should not have been any problems. But more than 500 years ago, an unforeseen event occurred. True Pupil Master suddenly said. Something happened. Demon Master Chenhuo's face darkened and his eyes turned cold. What happened? The Purple Blood Sect was destroyed, True Pupil Master said. What did you say? Demon Master Chenhuo's face changed dramatically. Jianghu's face also darkened. He knew how important Demon Master Chenhuo thought the Purple Star Demon Sect was. He was happy when he found out that there were experts from the Purple Star Demon Sect who had passed on their inheritance. But now, True Pupil Master said the Purple Blood Sect was destroyed? Tell me clearly, True Pupil Master, Jianghu said in a low voice. The Purple Blood Sect has indeed been destroyed. Our temporal temple hasn't figured out the exact reason, but Tomb King Qiumu and Master Lingfeng have been killed. However, Skyheart Sword Saint is still alive, True Pupil Master said. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 3504. Blood Origin Domain. Skyheart is still alive? Where is he? Demon Master Chenhuo asked. Skyheart Sword Saint is in the Blood Origin Domain of the Second Heaven, True Pupil Master said. Blood Origin Domain? Jianghu's expression changed. The Blood Origin Domain is not a place that specializes in extracting blood origin stones. The vast territory is filled with blood origin stone veins, and the people in the Blood Origin Domain, apart from the soldiers guarding there, are only slaves whose cultivation is suppressed and used to extract blood origin stones? When Jianghu came to the Second Heaven, he had carefully looked at the star map of the territory in the Second Heaven, so he naturally knew about the blood origin field. That territory was very strange in the Second Heaven. It was a huge and boundless blood origin stone lode. Although blood origin stones were not very precious, They were used to refine holy weapons and some special treasures. Moreover, the amount was huge, so the value of this vein was extremely high. As early as 100 million years ago, after this huge vein of blood origin stones was discovered, it was jointly managed by 7 different forces. Because the extraction of blood origin stones required a large amount of manpower, therefore the 7 great forces would pay a price to buy some slaves and use them to extract blood origin stones. At the same time, the 7 great forces would often suppress the cultivation of those who had a grudge with the 7 great forces and send them to the blood origin domain as slaves. Skyheart Sword Saint. Many of the powerful disciples of the Purple Blood Sect were sent to the blood origin domain after the destruction of the Purple Blood Sect. All these years they have been working as slaves there to mine blood origin stones, True Pupil Master said. How dare you? Demon Master Chenhuo's eyes were cold, and a shocking anger burst out from his body. True Pupil, lead the way immediately. Well, go to the blood origin domain together, Jianghu said. Yes. True Pupil Master nodded. The 3 of them immediately headed straight for the blood origin domain. The blood origin domain was also quite vast. Blood origin stones were everywhere in this great domain. The 7 great factions that controlled the blood origin domain had bought a large number of slaves from various chambers of commerce and other places. They were scattered all over the blood origin domain. These slaves had to mine blood origin stones every day, day and night. It was almost difficult for them to stop and rest. At this moment, somewhere in the blood origin domain, a pitch-black long whip lashed through the air and directly struck the body of a gray-clothed man in front, emitting a clear sound. The gray-clothed man immediately let out a delighted roar. However, the eyes of the soldier holding the long whip were emitting a cold gaze. The pitch-black long whip was like a venomous snake as it crazily lashed out at the gray-clothed man time and time again. At the same time that the long whip lashed out, the soldier also shouted, "A bunch of lowly slaves, you still dare to slack off? I'll whip you to death." The long whip kept whipping. The gray-robed man's cultivation was suppressed, so he could not use much divine power. In front of the saint-level soldier he could not resist at all, he could only let the whip hit him time and time again. However, the long whip was the soul-piercing whip that the 7 forces had specially modified. Using the soul-piercing whip to whip the gray-robed man's body would not cause much damage, nor would it cause much pain. However, each whip struck his soul. Each whip made the gray-clothed man's soul hurt. He screamed miserably. The servants around who had the same status as the gray-clothed man were all stiff when they saw this scene, as if they were used to it. Stop! A low roar suddenly sounded. A thin, white-bearded old man with dark skin walked over and pulled the gray-clothed man up. He said in a deep voice, "Sir, this disciple of mine is only a little slow in mining. According to the rules, 3 lashes should be sufficient even if I have to punish him. However, you have already lashed out a total of 9 lashes, causing great damage to his soul. If you continue to whip him, it is likely that his soul will directly collapse and die." Humph, he is merely a lowly slave. So what if he dies? That soldier coldly laughed. "Old fellow, you want to stand up for him? Alright, this father will teach you a lesson again." As he spoke, this soldier once again raised the soul-piercing whip in his hand, intending to lash it at the white-bearded old man. However, at this moment, what is going on? A voice suddenly sounded. Immediately, a green-robed middle-aged man rushed over. Sir Su. Upon seeing this person, all the soldiers present bowed respectfully. The soldier who was holding the soul-piercing whip respectfully said, "Sir Su, it is nothing. It is just that there are a few lowly slaves here who are not very obedient. I am currently teaching them a lesson." Teaching them a lesson? The green-robed middle-aged man glanced at the soldier. "Do you know who this person is?" "He is." The soldier revealed a puzzled expression. "He is the Grand Elder of the Purple Blood Sect, the famous Skyheart Sword Saint. How can you punish him so easily?" The green-robed middle-aged man intentionally reprimanded. He then extended his hand and said, "Hand over the soul-piercing whip to me." "Yes." The soldier handed the soul-piercing whip to the middle-aged man in the green robe without hesitation. After receiving the soul-piercing whip, the middle-aged man in the green robe looked at the white-bearded old man, who was the Skyheart Sword Saint, with a playful look. "Skyheart Sword Saint, do you still recognize me?" The Skyheart Sword Saint's face darkened slightly. He did not know the person in front of him. "It's normal that you don't know me, but I know you. To be exact, I know that eldest disciple of yours. 15,000 years ago when I was adventuring outside, I met that eldest disciple of yours and fought with him. In the end, I lost miserably in that battle and I almost died in his hands. From then on, I swore that as long as there was a chance, I would avenge myself. Unfortunately, I didn't go when your purple blood sect was destroyed, and your eldest disciple died in that battle. I couldn't take revenge on him at all. However, although I can't take revenge on him, if I can take revenge on his master, it will be enough to vent my anger. The green-robed middle-aged man sneered and his eyes turned cold. Wah, 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 wah. The pitch-black soul-piercing whip kept lashing at Skyheart Sword Saint. Skyheart Sword Saint's divine power was suppressed, so he could not exert his full strength. Of course he could not dodge it. The whip lashed at Skyheart Sword Saint's body again and again, causing him severe pain in his soul. However, he gritted his teeth and endured it without shouting. Ah! You probably didn't expect that even though you're dead, your master, the master you respect the most, would end up in my hands. If I want him to live, he can live. If I want him to die, he has to die. Even if I were to ravage him, he won't be able to struggle at all. Chapter 3505. The Furious Demon Master Chenhuo. Haha, this is great, great. The green-robed middle-aged man laughed out loud. There was a hint of madness in his laughter. It could be seen how much hatred he had towards Skyheart Sword Saint's disciple. Now that Skyheart Sword Saint's disciple was dead, he could not take revenge on him. However, if he could take revenge and ravage Skyheart Sword Saint, he would feel even more relieved and comfortable. After all, the Skyheart Sword Saint was an extremely famous invincible saint, and he had only just become a rank 7 true saint. Normally, he would never dare to provoke an existence like the Skyheart Sword Saint. But now the other party was his prisoner. If he wanted to live, he would live. If he wanted to die, he would die. With such a contrast, the green-robed middle-aged man was very wanton. This was also the reason why the green-robed middle-aged man had paid a huge price in the sect to have the sect transfer him to the blood origin domain. Haha, Skyheart Sword Saint, beg for mercy. Kneel in front of me obediently, kowtow and beg for mercy, and I'll let you go. The green-robed middle-aged man laughed wantonly. The soul-piercing whip in his hand did not stop for even a moment. It struck the Skyheart Sword Saint's body time and time again. The intense pain in his soul caused the Skyheart Sword Saint's face to completely distort. However, he still endured it and did not make a sound. As for the surrounding disciples of the Purple Blood Sect, they all clenched their hands tightly. The anger in their hearts surged to the heavens, but they did not dare to flare up. Haha, Skyheart Sword Saint, aren't you going to beg for mercy? The green-robed middle-aged man continued to laugh wantonly. However, suddenly, the laughter of the green-robed middle-aged man suddenly stopped. It was not just his laughter. The movements of his hands also completely stopped. The arrogant look on his face was gradually replaced by an unprecedented fear. The green-robed middle-aged man was extremely terrified. He did not even know where the reason for his fear came from, but he knew that his life force had already begun to drain away. A bloody hole had appeared between his eyebrows. This bloody hole had pierced through his head, and at the same time, it had completely annihilated all the divine power in his body. Without any chance of struggle, the green-robed middle-aged man died on the spot. The sudden change of events shocked everyone in the surroundings. Everyone saw the green-robed middle-aged man turn into an ice-cold corpse, but from the beginning to the end, they did not know what had happened. What happened? Lord Su is dead? How did he die? The soldiers were also at a loss. However, at this moment, three figures suddenly appeared in front of the green-robed middle-aged man and stood in front of Skyheart Sword Saint. Are you Skyheart? An old but gentle voice sounded. Skyheart Sword Saint, who had suffered an unprecedented pain in his soul and could only grit his teeth to endure it, slowly raised his head when he heard the voice. However, when he raised his head and saw the person who had appeared in front of him, Skyheart Sword Saint's body trembled violently and his eyes widened. Could you be Demon Master Chenhuo? Skyheart Sword Saint's voice trembled as he asked. Yes, it's me. Demon Master Chenhuo nodded slightly. Demon Master Chenhuo, are you really Demon Master Chenhuo? You're still alive? Am I dreaming? Skyheart Sword Saint's entire being became excited. He had even completely forgotten the intense pain in his soul. 200 million years ago, when the Purple Star Demon Sect was still around, Demon Master Chenhuo was already an elder of the Purple Star Demon Sect. Furthermore, he was a genius elder. He was astonishingly famous. And at that time, Skyheart Sword Saint was only a core disciple of the Purple Star Demon Sect. In terms of seniority, he naturally had to address the Demon Master Chenhuo as martial uncle. However, during the battle that destroyed the Purple Star Demon Sect, the demon master Chenhuo stayed in the Purple Star demon sect. Furthermore, after that battle, there was no news of the demon master Chenhuo. This made Skyheart Sword Saint believe that the demon master Chenhuo had died long ago. But today, Skyheart, you have suffered. Demon master Chenhuo's voice was trembling. But at this time, who dares to be so impudent in the blood origin domain? A loud shout suddenly resounded throughout the world. Hundreds of figures swarmed over from the void not far away like wasps. These people were all soldiers guarding the blood origin domain. They were not weak, and the leader was a principal's master. As soon as Jianghu and the other two arrived and Demon Master Chenhuo killed the green-robed middle-aged man, the high-level experts guarding the blood origin domain immediately received the news and rushed over. Although they did not know who had broken into the blood origin domain and killed the green-robed middle-aged man, and how strong he was, the blood origin domain was jointly controlled by the seven forces, and with the seven forces working together, the seven forces were extremely powerful and could do whatever they wanted in the second heaven. With such a powerful background, they naturally did not have to worry about anything. They had always been extremely overbearing. However, this time they had clearly raised an iron plate. When the hundreds of figures rushed over, Demon Master Chenhuo slowly raised his head and glanced at the void. Then he slowly raised his head again. A surge of power had begun to gather in his hand. These people are doomed. Jianghu looked at the hundreds of people who rushed over with sympathy. He could see that Demon Master Chenhuo was clearly in a rage. Under such a rage, would those people not be courting death if they still came to find him? Sure enough, Demon Master Chenhuo directly attacked. He simply waved his right hand toward the void, which swept up a terrifying storm and instantly covered the entire void. There were over 100 figures in the void. Most of them were true saints above rank 6, rank 7, and even peak saints. There was also a principal's master, but in front of this storm, they were all very weak. The void shattered like a piece of paper. Everything in the void was annihilated into dust. The hundreds of experts were naturally annihilated by this storm. Not a single person was left. This scene completely shocked everyone present. With a wave of his hand, hundreds of experts, including a void master, all died? What kind of strength is this? Who is he? Countless terrified voices echoed in everyone's minds. Skyheart Sword Saint was overjoyed when he saw this scene. He immediately knelt down and screamed, "Demon Master Chenhuo, you must avenge our Purple Blood sect, Senior Brother Chiumu and Senior Brother Lingfeng." Skyheart, don't worry. Sit down and speak slowly. Demon Master Chenhuo suppressed the anger in his heart. Skyheart Sword Saint, your soul has suffered great damage. I have a few elixirs here. Take them first. They will be very helpful to your soul recovery. Jianghu took out a jade bottle and handed it to Skyheart Sword Saint. Chapter 3506. Martial Uncle Chenhuo, thank you. Skyheart Sword Saint received the jade bottle and thanked him. Then he took out a few pills and began to swallow them. After swallowing them, Skyheart Sword Saint's complexion was obviously much better than before. Taking a deep breath, Skyheart Sword Saint said in a low voice, "Martial Uncle, the one who destroyed our Purple Blood sect was the Kongyin sect. At the same time, there were experts from the 100 Ghost sect who helped us." Kongyin sect? 100 Ghost sect? The gaze of the Demon Master Chenhuo was cold. The Kongyin sect is one of the 7 major powers that control the blood origin domain. Their overall strength can only be considered average. As for the 100 Ghost sect, they can barely be considered an overlord of a region at the second heaven. Compared to the Blood Marquis Palace, they are only slightly inferior, the true pupil master explained. The Purple Blood sect is very low-key and does not easily provoke large forces. We have never offended Kongyin sect or the 100 Ghost sect. However, I don't know where Kongyin sect found out that we have a top-tier supreme treasure, so they are coveting it, Skyheart Sword Saint said. Top-tier supreme treasure? Do you have it in the Purple Blood sect? Jianghu asked. Yes, I do. It's a suppression-type supreme treasure. Senior Brother Lingfeng obtained it by chance when he was exploring a secret realm. It's indeed very valuable. I didn't expect that it was this suppression-type supreme treasure that caused the destruction of the Purple Blood sect. Skyheart Sword Saint clenched his fists, his face also became ferocious. Our Purple Blood sect is not weak either. Kongyin sect alone cannot do anything to our Purple Blood sect. However, Kongyin sect secretly found the experts of the 100 Ghost sect and made the 100 Ghost sect send 3 principals masters to join forces with them. They directly charged into our Purple Blood sect. Our Purple Blood sect was no match for them. Senior Brother Chiumu and Senior Brother Lingfeng died on the spot. Many of their elders and disciples were also killed. Originally, the experts of the Kongyin sect and the 100 Ghost sect planned to kill all the cultivators of the Purple Blood sect. However, because the Blood Origin domain needed some slaves who were responsible for extracting Blood Origin stones, they imprisoned the remaining disciples of the Purple Blood sect and suppressed their cultivation. Not long after, they were brought to the Blood Origin domain and began to extract Blood Origin stones in the dark. I thought that the remaining disciples of our Purple Blood sect would slowly die in the Blood Origin domain. I didn't expect you to still be alive, Martial Uncle. Senior Brother Chenhuo, you must avenge our Purple Blood sect, Senior Brother Chiumu and Senior Brother Lingfeng. Skyheart Sword Saint shouted mournfully. He was a descendant of the Purple Star Demon sect. He knew very well that 200 million years ago, when the Purple Star Demon sect was still around, the Chenhuo Demon Master was publicly acknowledged as a genius elder. At that time he was already an extremely powerful Principles Master, and now so many years had passed, so his strength was definitely even more terrifying. This could be seen from the fact that he had just killed over 100 soldiers with a wave of his hand and even killed a Principles Master. Such a powerful martial uncle gave Skyheart Sword Saint hope of revenge. Don't worry, I will avenge Chiumu and Lingfeng. The eyes of the Demon Master Chenhuo were burning with anger. Skyheart, gather all the disciples of the Purple Blood sect. Yes. Skyheart Sword Saint nodded and immediately went to gather them. In a short while, all the disciples of the Purple Blood sect in the Blood Origin domain had gathered here. At a glance, there were no less than 1,000 of them. Most of these disciples were weaker. The stronger ones had already been killed by the Kongyin sect. The reason why they did not kill Skyheart Sword Saint was because the Kongyin sect wanted to better control these people. They were just extracting the Blood Origin stones for them. These disciples were all gathered here, but all of them had blank expressions on their faces. They had already learned that someone had come to save them. And the person who had come was the martial uncle of the Skyheart Sword Saint, an extremely ancient and powerful Principles Master. But they were very unfamiliar with the Demon Master Chenhuo himself. They had never heard the Skyheart Sword Saint or Chiumu or the Lingfeng Master mention such a martial uncle before. At the same time, they also had a trace of doubt in their hearts. Could the martial uncle of the Skyheart Sword Saint really save them? One had to know that the Blood Origin domain was jointly controlled by the 7 Great Powers, and the 7 Great Powers could basically do whatever they wanted in the Second Heaven. Even some of the extremely powerful sects in the Second Heaven did not dare to provoke the 7 Great Powers easily. It was not easy for the 7 forces to let them go. These disciples' doubtful eyes were also noticed by Demon Master and Jianghu. Are they all here? Demon Master's face was a little gloomy. They are all here. Skyheart Sword Saint nodded. There were tens of thousands of disciples under the Purple Blood sect, but more than half of them were killed and many escaped during the sect extermination battle. In the end, only about 2,000 people were brought to the Blood Origin domain by the suppression of their cultivation. However, after more than 500 years, many of these disciples chose to end their lives because they could not bear the life of mining Blood Origin stones in the dark and the oppression and humiliation of the sergeants. Those who are still alive are those who are more determined and desire to live. It's been hard on all of you. Demon Master Chenhuo nodded slightly. Don't worry. Since I am here, I will not let you suffer. I will not let any sect or faction bully you. These words caused the hearts and bodies of the disciples of the Purple Blood sect to tremble. Honorable Master, these people's cultivation has been suppressed, and their suppression techniques are not weak. Even experts above the Principles Master level can only help them break the suppression one by one to restore their strength, True Pupil Master said. True Pupil Master, he'll have to trouble you with this. Jianghu glanced at True Pupil Master. Yes. True Pupil Master nodded without any reluctance. It was not difficult for Principles Master to come into contact with the suppression techniques of these people one by one. It would only take a little effort and time, but there was no other cost. Of course, True Pupil Master was not reluctant. Skyheart, you tell them to wait here and ask True Pupil Master to restore their cultivation one by one. And you, come with me to Kongyin sect now, Demon Master Chenhuo said coldly. Now. Skyheart Sword Saint was stunned for a moment and then revealed an ecstatic expression. Jianghu instructed again, True Pupil Master, let's go to the Kongyin sect. As for the disciples of the Purple Blood sect, he'll leave them to you. You must ensure their safety. Don't worry, sir. With me around, no one will be able to hurt them again, True Pupil Master said with a smile. Chapter 3507. Slaughter. Jianghu nodded slightly. He was more at ease with the True Pupil Master. First of all, the true pupil master was a principles master in the three realms of the void, and he was extremely powerful. Second, the true pupil master came from the temporal temple, and the seven forces that controlled the blood origin domain did not dare to act rashly just because of his identity. With him protecting the disciples of the purple blood sect, no one from the seven forces would dare to touch them. Let's go, Demon Master Chenhuo said. Immediately Jian Wushuang, Demon Master Chenhuo, and Skyheart Sword Saint flew directly toward the nest of the Kongyin sect. The nest of the Kongyin sect was not far from the blood origin domain, so it did not take long for the three of them to arrive. Looking at the bustling sect in front of them, a shocking killing intent surged from Demon Master Chenhuo's eyes. Skyheart, you stay here and watch, Demon Master Chenhuo instructed. Then he looked at Jian Wushuang and said, Heavenly Sword Marquis, take care of him for me. No problem. Jian Wushuang nodded. Immediately, Demon Master Chenhuo charged directly toward the base of the Kongyin sect. Sir, Uncle Master is alone. Is it okay for him to charge into the lair of the Kongyin sect? Skyheart Sword Saint was a little worried at first. Jian Wushuang smiled and said, Don't worry. Let alone the Kongyin sect, even if 10 of them were to be tied together, they would not be enough in front of Chenhuo. Just watch. Just as Jian Wushuang said. A mere Kongyin sect had no room to struggle in front of the supreme strength of Demon Master Chenhuo. Demon Master Chenhuo punched out casually, and the protection formation of the Kongyin sect collapsed. Demon Master Chenhuo charged into the Kongyin sect without any hindrance. When the protection formation was broken, the experts of the Kongyin sect were naturally shocked and furious. One after another, experts rose up. The Devil Master did not waste any words on these experts of the Kongyin sect. He directly attacked and began the slaughter. He first appeared in front of the strongest sect master of the Kongyin sect. With a brutal punch, this peak 3rd level Void Realm sect master was instantly killed. He did not even have the slightest chance to struggle. As for the other experts of the Kongyin sect, they were like ants in front of the Demon Master. They were completely massacred. Slaughtered, completely slaughtered. Although the Kongyin sect's foundation was not ordinary and their strength was not weak, and they had 5 principles masters, they were still nothing in front of the Demon Master Chenhuo. In the blink of an eye, 4 of the 5 principles masters of the Kongyin sect were killed by the Demon Master Chenhuo. The remaining principles master, as well as the other disciples of the Kongyin sect, were all scared out of their wits. They all started to flee frantically. The entire Kongyin sect was in a mess. Countless figures were fleeing frantically, not daring to come into contact with the killing god in the void. Seeing this scene, Jian Wushuang could not help but sigh. It's rare to see Chenhuo start a massacre. Seems that he's really angry. The Kongyin sect is doomed. After sighing, Jian Wushuang's expression suddenly changed. It's fine if the disciples of the Kongyin sect are weak and are at the bottom, but it's better not to keep those strong mainstays. Jian Wushuang smiled and casually waved his hand. A vast power of spacetime principles instantly swept out. He directly used the golden sky painting flag. Not only did Jian Wushuang restrict the spacetime around him, but he also immediately released a huge spacetime binding force that swept toward the immortal saints of the Kongyin sect who were at the top level. With Jian Wushuang's current strength, using the golden sky painting flag to bind the immortal saint was a little overkill. Even though there were a lot of people bound, it was easy for Jian Wushuang. In a flash, the upper-level experts of the Kongyin sect were bound and could hardly move. Demon Master Chenhuo did not refuse Jian Wushuang's good intentions. He started a massacre on these people whom he usually did not even bother to look at. Because of Demon Master Chenhuo's slaughter, the Kongyin sect had been turned into a sea of blood. It was a terrible sight. Jian Wushuang just looked at the surrounding void indifferently. Skyheart Sword Saint was shocked, but more than that he felt happy to take revenge. At this moment, Jian Wushuang's expression suddenly changed. He had noticed that a large number of experts were rushing over from the surrounding void. There were nearly 20 of them, with most of them being principles masters. There are nearly 20 principles masters. In the second heaven, there shouldn't be any sect or force that can take action. And now, if I'm not mistaken, they should be the other 6 forces that control the blood origin domain, Jian Wushuang muttered. He had already looked in that direction. It's the experts from the other 6 forces. Skyheart Sword Saint immediately became nervous. He had heard that the 7 forces that controlled the blood origin domain were usually united against a common enemy. Whoever provoked one of the forces was equivalent to provoking all of them. Because of their unity, they were able to occupy the blood origin domain and run amok in the second heaven. This time, the six forces had rushed over because they had received a request for help from the Kongyin sect. However, when they rushed over, the Kongyin sect had already turned into a sea of blood that filled the sky. Meanwhile, the demon master Chenhuo, who was in the middle of the sea of blood, was still slaughtering crazily to vent his anger. This is the Kongyin sect? Who is that person? What did he do to the Kongyin sect? The principal's masters from the six forces looked at the sea of blood in horror. However, before they could get close to the sea of blood, Jianghu had already stood in front of them and blocked their way. Everyone, let me give you a piece of advice. Go back to where you came from. It's better for you not to get involved in the affairs of the Kongyin sect today, Jianghu said indifferently. Seeing Jianghu blocking in front of them, especially when he sensed the aura emanating from Jianghu body, he was merely a saint. A principal's master in the third realm of the void realm from the six major forces. He immediately shouted, "How dare a mere saint block our way? Get out of my way." Jianghu eyes turned cold, but the blood mountain sword behind him was instantly unsheathed. Whoosh! A sword light streaked across the void like a bolt of lightning and struck toward the principal's master. The principal's master's expression changed. He tried to block the attack, but the sword light was not blocked at all. It flew past the principal's master's body. It shattered the principal's master's divine body at once. Jianghu did not kill him, but the principal's master's divine power was not completely destroyed. You'd better be careful. Otherwise you won't even know how you died. Jianghu cold voice slowly echoed in the world. Chapter 3508, Terror, how is this possible? The principal's master of the third level of the void space realm who had his godly body destroyed by a single sword was waiting with his eyes wide open in disbelief. He was not the only one. The nearly 20 principal's masters around him were all in a daze. A saint used a single sword to destroy the godly body of a third level of the void realm principal's master? What kind of strength is this? He must have at least the battle strength of the 5 void realms, and he is probably not weak among them. He is just a saint, but his battle strength is comparable to the principal's masters of the 5 void realms. He is Heavenly Sword Marquis. Only Heavenly Sword Marquis can do this in the divine beginning realm. Heavenly Sword Marquis? The expressions of the nearly 20 principal's masters from the 6 major forces began to change after they understood Jianghu identity. At the same time, they had also heard that Heavenly Marquis Sword had turned the demon realm upside down in the third heaven. At the same time, he had been accompanied by a super expert with terrifying strength, an expert who had reached the pinnacle of the 6 realms of the void. This expert, everyone could not help but look at Demon Master Chenhuo, who was still slaughtering crazily in the Kongyin sect. In the next moment, the 20 principal's masters all shuddered. You should be experts from the other 6 forces that control the blood origin domain, right? Jianghu voice was heard at this moment. You should be young friend Heavenly Sword Marquis, right? Among the nearly 20 principal's masters, the strongest and most senior white-haired elder said. This white-haired elder had clearly reached the 4th realm of the void realm. However, he did not dare to put on airs in front of Jianghu. It's me. Jianghu admitted his identity directly, then he asked, if I'm not mistaken, you must be here for the Kongyin sect. But I'm sorry to tell you that from today on, there will be no more Kongyin sect in the divine beginning realm. As for the 7 forces that originally controlled the blood origin domain, there will only be 2 from now on. Do you have any objections to this? No, of course not. The white-haired elder quickly shook his head. The Kongyin sect has been very extreme and arrogant over the years. The 6 forces have long been dissatisfied with it, but we didn't expect the Kongyin sect to be so bold and provoke you. It's a disaster. You really know how to talk. Jianghu smiled. But you're wrong about one thing. The Kongyin sect has never provoked me. It provoked Demon Master Chenhuo, who is by my side. I know Chenhuo's temper. He disdains to lower himself to attack weaker cultivators and even some principal's masters. But this time he has started a massacre. You can imagine his anger. As far as I know, the 6 forces might not be able to get away with this. What? The expression of the white-haired elder and the other principal's masters of the 6 forces changed drastically. The 6 forces could not get away from this incident? Could it be that after the demon master had massacred the Kongyin sect, he would attack the 6 forces again? Thinking of this, the principal's masters of the 6 forces became nervous and terrified. Seeing the change in the expression of the principal's masters, Jianghu smiled and glanced at Skyheart Sword Saint behind him. Skyheart Sword Saint, come here first. My lord. Skyheart Sword Saint came to Jian Wushuang and bowed to him respectfully. At the same time he was shocked. At first, he thought that Jian Wushuang was the disciple of Demon Master Chenhuo when he saw his uncle master together with Jian Wushuang. After all, Jian Wushuang's aura was only at the saint level. But now, Jian Wushuang had defeated a principal's master of the three void realms with a single strike. Such strength really scared him. He now truly understood Jian Wushuang's identity. At the same time, he also knew that Jian Wushuang was not his martial uncle's disciple, but had a deeper relationship with his martial uncle. Do you all recognize Skyheart Sword Saint? Jian Wushuang looked at the principal's masters in front of him with interest. Skyheart Sword Saint? Skyheart Sword Saint of the Purple Blood Sect? The Purple Blood Sect was destroyed by the Kong-yin sect more than 500 years ago? Moreover, many disciples of the Purple Blood Sect were arranged to mine blood origin stones in the blood origin domain. Could it be, seeing Skyheart Sword Saint, the principal's masters immediately understood? Jian Wushuang smiled and said, "Let me tell you first. Chenhuo is Skyheart Sword Saint's uncle, and the Purple Blood Sect where Skyheart Sword Saint is a legacy of the Purple Star Demon Sect many years ago. After the Kong-yin sect destroyed the Purple Blood Sect, they are destined to be killed by Chenhuo. As for how you six forces should deal with them, it depends on Chenhuo." Upon hearing this, the experts of the six forces became even more terrified. They had no choice. An expert at the pinnacle of the six realms of the void was not someone they could afford to provoke. Just like how Demon Master Chenhuo had annihilated the Kong-yin sect, Demon Master Chenhuo could also easily wipe out the six forces. Soon, the slaughter in the Kong-yin sect was almost over, and Demon Master Chenhuo slowly walked out of the Blood Sea. Jian Wushuang could not help but glance at the Kong-yin sect when he saw Demon Master Chenhuo coming out, but he nodded secretly. He had been paying attention to it. Although Demon Master Chenhuo was slaughtering crazily, most of the people he was slaughtering were the high-level experts of the Kong-yin sect. As for the weaker disciples, they were at the bottom of the hierarchy. However, he did not kill or chase them. Compared to the Kong-yin sect's direct destruction of the Purple Blood Sect and the capture of all the remaining disciples of the Purple Blood Sect to the blood origin domain, the Kong-yin sect was much more merciful. Even though there were still many weaker disciples left, the Kong-yin sect was completely finished without the support of high-level experts. Uncle Master. Skyheart Sword Saint hurriedly bowed respectfully when he saw Demon Master Chenhuo walking over. "Chenhuo, the people from the six major forces have arrived," Jian Wushuang said indifferently. Demon Master Chenhuo's eyes were cold and still filled with a shocking killing intent as he swept his gaze across the bodies of the principal's masters. All the principal's masters who were swept by the gaze of the Demon Master Chenhuo felt their hearts tremble. "Skyheart, let me ask you, have these six great powers ever persecuted the Purple Blood Sect?" The Demon Master Chenhuo asked. "Martial uncle, the ones who destroyed our Purple Blood Sect back then were the Kong-yin sect and Hundred Ghost sect. As for these six great powers, they didn't act. However, these six great powers and the Kong-yin sect jointly control the blood origin domain. After the surviving disciples of our Purple Blood Sect were captured and brought to the blood origin domain, the soldiers of these six great powers also bullied us many times. Many of our disciples chose to end their lives because they couldn't endure their misery." Chapter 3509. Conditions. In other words, the hands of the six major powers have also been stained with the blood of your Purple Blood Sect disciples, right? The voice of the Demon Master Chenhuo turned cold. "Yes." Skyheart Sword Saint nodded. The principal's masters of the six major powers were scared out of their wits. The most powerful white-haired old man shouted, "Lord Chenhuo, the Purple Blood Sect is purely the doing of the Kong-yin sect. The six major forces have never interfered before. As for what happened in the blood origin domain, it was all done by the soldiers guarding there. The six major forces can't completely restrain them. Moreover, we didn't know about the relationship between the Purple Blood Sect and you. Lord Chenhuo, the six great factions are willing to immediately apologize to you and the members of the Purple Blood Sect. We are also willing to pay a price to compensate you. We hope that you can be lenient." The white-haired old man was already begging for mercy as much as possible. He had no choice. He was deeply aware of the terrifying strength that the Demon Master Chenhuo possessed. Once the Demon Master Chenhuo made a move, the six great factions would vanish like the Kong-yin sect. Therefore, he could only try his best to ask Demon Master Chenhuo for forgiveness. Upon hearing the white-haired elder's words, Demon Master Chenhuo narrowed his eyes slightly, but the killing intent in his eyes did not diminish at all. At this moment, Jian Wushuang spoke. "Chenhuo, the seven forces that control the blood origin domain are all powerful and have a wide range of influence. It's not a problem for you to destroy the Kangyin sect alone. However, if you destroy all 7 of them in one go, it will cause a lot of trouble, especially for the forces or experts that have a lot of connections with the 7 forces. Of course, your strength is tyrannical, so you don't have to care about these things. However, the Purple Blood sect has to care. In the future, the Purple Blood sect has to rise and grow. They can't have too many enemies. Therefore, we just have to teach these 6 great powers a deep lesson. There's no need to kill them all. Besides, this man is right. There have been a lot of slaves in the blood origin domain since many years ago. Those who were sent there have no dignity. Although the sergeants sometimes bully them, they usually don't kill them. The disciples of the Purple Blood sect who died in the blood origin domain almost couldn't bear the dark days. We can't blame the sergeants for their deaths. Jin Wushuang's words hit the nail on the head, and he had indeed thought of many things. After hearing his words, the killing intent in Demon Master Chenhuo's eyes eased a little. I think we should ask the 6 forces to investigate some of the sergeants who bullied the disciples of the Purple Blood sect while they were in the blood origin domain. After finding out who they are, kill them all. Also, ask each of the 6 forces to give 100,000 divine power as compensation, Jian Wushuang said. After saying that, Jian Wushuang looked at the principals masters of the 6 forces and asked, "Can the 6 forces accept what I'm saying?" "Yes, of course." The white-haired elder nodded without thinking. He looked at Demon Master Chenhuo nervously. This punishment is too light. Demon Master Chenhuo's face was cold. After the destruction of the Purple Blood sect, there are only a few thousand disciples left. There are too few of them, and it will be difficult for them to recruit new disciples. Therefore, from today onwards, for the next 100,000 years, the 6 great powers will prohibit the recruitment of disciples from the outside world. The nearby territories will all belong to the Purple Blood sect, regardless of whether they want to join the sect or have talented disciples. As soon as these words were spoken, the expressions of the principals masters from the 6 great powers changed drastically. Within 100,000 years, the 6 great powers would not be allowed to take in a single disciple? This punishment was not small to them. After all, if a sect or power wanted to continue on, they could not always rely on the experts of the older generation. Instead, they had to constantly absorb new blood and nurture young geniuses. Only in this way could the old and the new be constantly replaced, allowing the sect to remain strong and prosperous. As a result, the 6 great factions had always placed great importance on recruiting disciples. Every once in a while they would hold large-scale entrance feasts in the territories under their control, they would attract countless young cultivators, and they would select some of the best among them. It had always been like this and had never been cut off. It was because of this that the 6 great factions had been able to remain strong. But now, the 6 great factions were not allowed to recruit a single disciple for 100,000 years? This was equivalent to a vacuum period of 100,000 years. During the 100,000 years, not a single drop of fresh blood had been injected. This had an enormous impact on any sect or faction. On the other hand, the Purple Blood sect, because of this territory, the other 6 major factions did not recruit disciples. Under this premise, those young cultivators who wished to join the sect would definitely swarm toward the Purple Blood sect. In addition, with a super expert like the Demon Master Chenhuo, the attraction to the outside world would be even greater. With this, forget about 100,000 years, it was estimated that the Purple Blood sect would only need tens of thousands of years to recover its origin chi. At most, it would be lacking some mid-level combat strength. However, as long as there was an endless stream of fresh blood being injected into the Purple Blood sect, sooner or later, the Purple Blood sect would also be able to produce an endless stream of experts. It could be said that this move of the Demon Master Chenhuo was indeed extremely thoughtful. He had also considered a lot for the Purple Blood sect. Most importantly, although this condition seemed harsh, it did not exceed the scope of acceptance of the 6 major factions. Therefore, the 6 major factions would still accept it if nothing unexpected happened. As expected, after a simple discussion among the principals masters of the 6 great forces, the white-haired old man opened his mouth once again. "Lord Chenhuo, we have already discussed it. We can accept your conditions. From today onwards, our 6 great forces will announce to the public that we will not open our sects for another 100,000 years. As long as we do not obtain the consent of the Purple Blood sect, our 6 great forces will definitely not recruit another disciple. Since that is the case, then we will understand this matter. However, from today onwards, if any of your 6 great factions dare to offend the Purple Blood sect, then don't blame this old man for being ruthless." Demon Master Chenhuo said coldly. "Of course." The white-haired old man broke out in cold sweat. The principal's masters within the 6 great factions secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Even though they had paid a heavy price this time, they were already thankful that they were not implicated by the demon master Chenhuo's anger. Chapter 35:10 Reconstruction Skyheart. Demon Master Chenhuo looked over and asked, "Is the Purple Blood sect far from here?" "Not far. With my speed I can arrive in half a day. However, my Purple Blood sect has already been mostly destroyed in that battle," Skyheart Sword Saint said. "The sect was destroyed. As long as its foundation is still intact, it can be rebuilt. Skyheart, take those disciples and go back to the Purple Blood sect. I'll destroy the 100 Ghost sect first and then come to the Purple Blood sect to look for you," Demon Master Chenhuo said. "Yes." Skyheart Sword Saint nodded. There are more than 1,000 disciples of the Purple Blood sect, and they were bullied in the Blood Origin domain. Although most of them have recovered their cultivation, it's hard to guarantee that nothing will happen on the way back from the Blood Origin domain. "In my opinion, it'll trouble you to escort them along the way," Jianghu said with a smile. "Of course," the white-haired elder said. "It was a piece of cake to escort them along the way. Of course they would not refuse." Demon Master Chenhuo nodded slightly and went straight to the 100 Ghost sect. Seeing the murderous look on Demon Master Chenhuo's face, Jianghu began to pray for the 100 Ghost sect in his heart. The 100 Ghost sect is considered an overlord in the second heaven, but unfortunately they provoked Chenhuo. "I'm afraid they are doomed," Jianghu praised. He did not go to the 100 Ghost sect with Demon Master Chenhuo because he had already guessed the outcome of the sect. The 100 Ghost sect would definitely not be able to withstand the wrath of Demon Master Chenhuo. Jianghu and Skyheart Sword Saint went to the Blood Origin domain first. When they arrived at the Blood Origin domain, the suppression methods of the disciples of the Purple Blood sect had been broken by the true pupil master, and their cultivation had recovered. Then Jianghu and Skyheart Sword Saint went back to the Purple Blood sect together, then they returned to the Purple Blood sect. Of course, on the way, the principal's masters of the 6 major forces also obediently escorted them along the way, not daring to take any of them with them. Not long after they returned to the Purple Blood sect. When they arrived at the Purple Blood sect, they saw that it was almost a ruin with ruins everywhere. After all, more than 500 years had passed, and the sect had left many traces of time. It was obvious that there used to be a large number of buildings in the ruins, but now they had all been destroyed. Thanks, it's completely destroyed." Jianghu sighed. During the battle, the experts of the Kong-Yin sect and the 100 Ghost sect joined hands and directly attacked the Purple Blood sect. They massacred wantonly and destroyed everything in the sect. "Apart from us who survived, there was almost nothing left," Skyheart Sword Saint said from the side. His voice was also a little low. "A sect will more or less experience setbacks and tribulations. It's already good enough to be reborn in blood. Besides, the Purple Blood sect hasn't been established for long. If you think about the Purple Star Demon sect, you might feel better," Jianghu said. Skyheart Sword Saint was stunned. Yes, he was also an expert left behind by the Purple Star Demon sect. The destruction of the Purple Star Demon sect was even more devastating than the destruction of the Purple Blood sect. "Just you wait. When Sunfire returns with him leading you, it won't take long for the Purple Blood sect to completely recover and even reach a new level," Jianghu said. "Okay." Skyheart Sword Saint nodded slightly, full of expectation. Not long after, Demon Master Chenhuo returned. His successful return meant the fate of the 100 Ghost sect. Except for one principal's master who was not in the sect, the rest of the principal's masters were killed by Demon Master Chenhuo, including many high-level experts of the 100 Ghost sect. More than half of them were killed by Demon Master Chenhuo. It could be said that the 100 Ghost sect had followed in the footsteps of the Kong-Yin sect and was completely destroyed. After Demon Master Chenhuo returned, he immediately saw Jianghu and Skyheart Sword Saint. "Uncle Master," after the experts from the 6 major forces escorted the disciples of the Purple Blood sect back to the Purple Blood sect, they did not leave. Instead, they continued to wait here to see if you have any other orders, Skyheart Sword Saint said. "Tell them to go back and finish what they promised," Demon Master Chenhuo said directly. "Yes," Skyheart Sword Saint immediately sent the message. Demon Master Chenhuo stood in the void above the Purple Blood sect and looked down at the ruins, frowning slightly. "Chenhuo, are you sure you want to rebuild the Purple Blood sect instead of going to the Purple Star Demon sect?" Jianghu could not help asking. He knew the relationship between Demon Master Chenhuo and the Purple Star Demon sect. If there was a chance for the Purple Star Demon sect to rise again, he would not let it go. However, after hearing Jianghu's words, Demon Master Chenhuo nodded slightly. It has been nearly 200 million years since the Purple Star Demon sect was destroyed. It's been too long. Most of the things left in the Purple Star Demon sect have already rotted. There's no need to go to the Purple Crystal Fog Sea and rebuild it under the name of the Purple Star Demon sect. It might be the best choice to continue the legacy in another place under the name of the Purple Blood sect. It's good that you think so. Jianwu Shuang nodded. There were only two experts left by the Purple Star Demon sect, namely Demon Master Chenhuo and Skyheart Sword Saint. Although they both had deep feelings for the Purple Star Demon sect, it had been too long. There was no need for them to insist on rebuilding it. As long as they kept the inheritance of the Purple Star Demon sect, it was the best choice to exist in the Divine Beginning realm under another name. Although the Purple Star Demon sect has not been rebuilt, I'm afraid it will take a lot of time and effort to rebuild the Purple Blood sect, Jianwu Shuang said. That's for sure, Demon Master Chenhuo said. In fact, as long as we have enough manpower and resources, it's easy to rebuild the things in the sect. The real difficulty is to create the trump card of the sect, which is the sect-protecting formation of the Purple Blood sect. Yes. The sect-protecting formation is a necessary skill and the last trump card of a sect. We must not be careless. Jianwu Shuang nodded in agreement. The sect-protecting formation was the foundation and the last resort of a sect. As long as the sect-protecting formation was there, the sect would be absolutely safe. Even if the outside world was in a sea of flames, as long as the sect-protecting formation did not collapse, the people in it would not be a threat. But if the sect-protecting formation was broken, to the sect, that was the same as losing the last layer of protection. The sect would be completely exposed in front of the other party. Just like back in the Demon Realm, the Nine-Tailed Clan and the Blood Clan sect-protecting formation were extremely powerful. If not for Marquis Duanyu breaking through the formation, even if they had the combat strength of the Demon Master Chenhuo, they might not be able to break in, so naturally they could not pose a real threat to the two clans. Chapter 35:11. Human Illusion Level. The Purple Blood sect had been destroyed for more than 500 years. Although they had the capital to rebuild the sect-protecting formation was still very important. Heavenly Sword Marquis, I know that Star Palace has a special relationship with you, and Marquis Duanyu said that he was willing to listen to you. So, can you ask him to come to the Purple Blood sect and set up a protective array for us? Of course, the Purple Blood sect will not let him come for nothing. We will prepare a generous reward for him, or let me owe him a favor. Hearing this, Jianwu Shuang could not help but smile and said, let me ask him for you. Jianwu Shuang directly sent a message to Marquis Duanyu and soon got the answer. Marquis Duanyu has agreed to set up a clan-protecting formation for your Purple Blood sect. As for the conditions, he hasn't mentioned it yet, Jianwu Shuang said. Thank you, Demon Master Chenhuo thanked him. He knew that the reason why Marquis Duanyu agreed so readily was largely because it was Jianwu Shuang who invited him. Marquis Duanyu said it would take him 2 to 3 months to reach the second heaven. Let's wait here, Jianwu Shuang said. In the following time, the Purple Blood sect began to rebuild on a large scale. To rebuild the sect, of course, it would require a lot of resources, which was easy to do. Demon Master Chenhuo had a lot of resources left by the Purple Star Demon sect, which could be used. Moreover, even if there were not so many resources, the 6 forces that controlled the Blood Origin domain nearby would definitely come to him. 3 months later, Marquis Duanyu arrived at the Purple Blood sect. My young friend, Mr. Chenhuo. Marquis Duanyu bowed humbly. Marquis Duanyu, you already know the purpose of inviting you here. Now, the Purple Blood sect is under your feet. It has just been rebuilt. What do you think of the sect-protecting formation? Jianwu Shuang asked directly. Please keep reading on MYB0XN0VL, D0T, C0M. Marquis Duanyu looked down at the Purple Blood sect and nodded slightly. The general sect-protecting formation is nothing more than to block strong enemies at the critical moment. Therefore, the sect-protecting formation is mainly used for defense. However, there are some sect-protecting formations that can be used for both offense and defense. However, the cost is even greater. Which one do you need, Mr. Chenhuo? We will use a pure array formation to defend against strong enemies. As for attacking, we will only need to carry some offensive power on our shoulders, said Demon Master Chenhuo. What about the level of the array formation? Marquis Duanyu said again. My young friend Heavenly Sword Marquis has told me before that the Purple Blood sect is not considered a very powerful sect now. However, because of you, Mr. Chenhuo, it will definitely rise in the future. The level of this array formation should also be higher, right? Of course, it needs a high-level array formation. It would be best if it could block the array formation of a Saint Realm Master, said Demon Master Chenhuo. Back when the Purple Star Demon Sect was destroyed, the one who attacked the Purple Star Demon Sect was a Saint Realm Master. The sect protecting array formation of the Purple Star Demon Sect back then was actually very powerful. However, in front of a Saint Realm Master it was like paper. Having experienced it once, Demon Master Chenhuo did not wish for the next Saint Realm Master to charge into the Purple Blood Sect. Therefore he naturally wanted a sect protecting array formation that could block a Saint Realm Master. However, Marquis Duanyu smiled when he heard the words of the Demon Master. I do have a formation that can block a Saint Realm Master. Moreover, I can set it up with my attainments in the Tao of formations. However, the prerequisite is that the resources required to set up such a formation will be much greater than what you can imagine, Mr. Chenhuo. Oh. Demon Master Chenhuo frowned. Let's not talk about other things first. Just the energy required to maintain the formation can only be absorbed through divine power. To maintain the normal operation of the formation, the divine power that is stored throughout the year is in the hundreds of millions, not to mention the other precious natural treasures. In addition, even if the formation is set up, it must be maintained by 2 or more experts who have reached the pinnacle of the 6th level of the void every million years. Otherwise, the formation might also collapse and disintegrate. These 2 conditions are just 2 of the requirements for setting up the formation. There are also many other requirements that are equally demanding, such as the time required to set up the formation. I wonder if Mr. Chenhuo can accept them? Marquis Duanyu said playfully. Upon hearing this, Demon Master Chenhuo was somewhat stunned. Jian Wushuang's expression also became strange. However, he could understand. After all, it was not easy to set up a magic array that could withstand a Saint Realm Master. Even if Marquis Duanyu had the ability to set up this magic array, he did not have the capital to do so. Although Demon Master Chenhuo had a lot of resources on hand, he was afraid that he would not be able to meet the conditions mentioned by Marquis Duanyu. It seems that I have been too arrogant. I won't think about this array that can withstand the attacks of a Saint Realm Master for the time being. Then what are the requirements for setting up a slightly lower level array? Demon Master Chenhuo said. There are many levels of array formations. An array that can withstand the attacks of a Saint Realm Master or an ordinary ruler level expert is already an Earth Sage level array formation. This level of array formation is extremely impressive, so it is naturally quite difficult to set up. For example, the 5 elements array formation of the Nine-Tailed Clan is an Earth Sage level array formation. However, because the Nine-Tailed Clan does not have a ruler level expert supporting them, they are unable to unleash the power of an Earth Sage level array formation. That is why I was able to break it so easily. However, if a genuine holy level formation is successfully set up, there is absolutely no need to worry about it being broken in the Divine Beginning Realm. However, with the resources of the cultivators in the Divine Beginning Realm, it is almost impossible to set up an holy level formation. In that case, we can only take a step back and set up a human illusion level formation, Marquis Duanyu said. Human illusion level magic array? Jian Wushuang was puzzled. In the vast universe, a human illusion level magic array is only an entry-level magic array, but in the Divine Beginning Realm, it is very high level. For example, the Blood Marten clan's clan protection magic array was also at the human illusion level, but it was only at the intermediate level among the human illusion level magic arrays. And I have a few complete peak stage human illusion level formations in my hands. Once these formations are set up, ordinary 6th level Void Realm experts would definitely not be able to break them. Even if there are 3 or 5 peak stage Void Realm experts, it would be very difficult to shake them. Unless there are 2 or more peak stage Void Realm experts, only then would they be able to break them. Marquis Duanyu said. Upon hearing this, the eyes of the Demon Master brightened. Even experts at the pinnacle of the Void 6 realms would need at least 2 to break through it? However, it must be known that other than him, there were only 2 experts at the pinnacle of the Void 6 realms in the Divine Beginning Realm. In other words, once such a formation was set up, as long as the Saint Realm Master did not personally take action, no one would be able to break it. Chapter 35:12. Unshakable, Marquis Duanyu, what is the price of setting up a formation at the peak of the human illusion level? Jian Wushuang asked. Although the formation at the peak of the human illusion level is far inferior to that at the Earth Saint Realm, the price of setting it up is still very high. However, it is still acceptable for an expert at the pinnacle of the 6 realms of the void, Marquis Duanyu said. If that's the case, Marquis Duanyu, please help us set up the magic formation at the peak of the human illusion level. You can tell me the cost and resources you need. After the magic formation is set up, I'll owe you a favor, Marquis Duanyu said. Haha, it's difficult to set up the magic formation at the peak of the human illusion level, but if I can exchange it for the favor of an expert at the pinnacle of the 6 realms of the void, he'll be very lucky, Marquis Duanyu said. Let's not waste time, Marquis Duanyu, start to set up the formation, Jian Wushuang said. Marquis Duanyu nodded and then discussed with Demon Master Chenhuo how to set up the formation. After everything was ready, Marquis Duanyu began to set up the formation. It was not easy to set up a magic formation at the peak of the human illusion level. Not only did it require a lot of resources, but it also took a lot of time. During this time, Jian Wushuang stayed in the Purple Blood sect and watched Marquis Duanyu set up the magic array. Although he did not know much about the Tao of Magic Array, it was because of this that he did not want to miss this opportunity. After all, Marquis Duanyu could be said to have the highest attainments in the Tao of Magic Array in the Divine Beginning realm. Watching him set up the magic array with his own hands could also help Jian Wushuang understand more about the Tao of Magic Array. In the future, whether he was in the Divine Beginning realm or in the universe battlefield, he would certainly have to deal with some special arrays. Thanks for your understanding of array formation, it would be more or less useful. Time passed and in a flash 3 years had passed. In these 3 years the Purple Blood sect had almost been rebuilt. The original ruins had now become a pure land. Birds sang and flowers were fragrant, and palaces and pavilions were everywhere. The entire sect looked magnificent. It was no longer as tragic as before. Most importantly, there was a layer of light membrane that could not be seen by the naked eye in the void around the Purple Blood sect. This light membrane was the pinnacle human illusion grade array that Marquis Duanyu had spent 3 years to set up. Mr. Chenhuo, this array has already been set up and it has already formed a cycle. From now on, as long as your Purple Blood sect infuses a batch of divine power into it every once in a while to provide the energy for the array to operate normally, this array can continue forever. Furthermore, even if an expert were to forcefully break this array in the future, as long as the foundation of the array is not uprooted, you can casually hire 1 or 2 array masters of the 9th stage or above to repair the array. Yes. Demon Master Chenhuo nodded slightly and said gratefully, "Thank you, Marquis Duanyu, for the past 3 years. Haha, it's only been 3 years. I'm more than happy to be able to exchange for your favor," Marquis Duanyu said with a smile. Marquis Duanyu. At this moment, Jian Wushuang opened his mouth and said, "The power of the magic formation in front of me is really as amazing as you said. But why does it look like that to me?" That's because the power of this magic array hasn't really erupted. Normally, the magic array only keeps simple operation so it doesn't consume too much energy. However, once the magic array is attacked, the power of the magic array will be revealed. Marquis Duanyu smiled. "If you don't believe me, you can try the power of this magic array yourself." Please keep reading on MYB0XN0VL, D0T, C0M. Then I won't be polite. Jian Wushuang did not refuse. His palm had already grabbed the Blood Mountain sword behind him. One swish. The Blood Mountain sword was unsheathed, and a shocking sword essence instantly swept out in the surrounding void. Then Jian Wushuang's body flashed and appeared around the magic formation. He activated his life divine power and heaven-cleaving skill at this moment. Whoosh! A blood-red sword light, like a bolt of blood-red lightning, suddenly slashed out with extreme violence. It was the peerless sword manual Shixiang. The power of this extremely powerful sword, especially when Jian Wushuang used his full strength, had reached the peak of the 5th void realm. However, when the sword directly hit the light film, it was like a drop of water falling into the sea. The light film did not cause much waves and the whole Purple Blood sect was still very calm. However, the power of Jian Wushuang's sword had been completely exhausted. Amazing! Jian Wushuang could not help but exclaim, "My sword attack is even more powerful than the full-strength attack of an ordinary expert of the 5th void realm." However, it did not shake the magic formation at all. After all, I attacked from the inside of the magic formation. Jian Wushuang sighed in his heart. Attacking from the outside of the magic formation and attacking from the inside of the magic formation were 2 completely different things. Under normal circumstances, a magic array had the strongest defense against the outside world, but its internal defense was much weaker. Because of this, in the Divine Beginning realm, if a force wanted to contribute to another force, they had to attack from the inside and cooperate with the outside. This way, it would be easier to break the protective magic array of the other party. However, the magic array set up by Marquis Duanyu in the Purple Blood sect had such a strong internal defense that Jian Wushuang could not even move it with his full strength. However, the defensive energy outside the magic array was very strong. With this magic array, the Purple Blood Sect will be safe as long as the Saint Realm Master doesn't personally take action, Jianghu Shuang said. Logically speaking, the Purple Blood Sect was inherited by the Purple Star Demon Sect, and the one who destroyed the Purple Star Demon Sect was the Saint Realm Master, Demon Master Chenhuo said in a low voice. Although the magic array had been set up, Demon Master Chenhuo was still a little worried. Seeing this, Jianghu Shuang smiled and said, Chenhuo, you don't have to worry. So what if the Flame Saint Realm knows that the Purple Blood Sect was inherited by the Purple Star Demon Sect? After all, the Purple Blood Sect has you. It's no longer the Purple Star Demon Sect. It can't resist the Flame Saint Realm at all. Moreover, even if the Purple Blood Sect can't resist it, it's almost impossible for the Flame Saint Master to kill you. As long as you don't die, you can crazily take revenge on the Flame Saint Realm and kill their experts. That would be a disaster for the Flame Saint Realm. The Flame Saint Realm definitely knows this as well. Hence, before they have absolute confidence in killing you, the Flame Saint Realm wouldn't dare to attack the Purple Blood Sect. This is because they aren't willing to pay the price for you. That's true, but this is also because I'm here. What if one day I'm no longer here? Demon Master Chenhuo frowned. Chapter 35:13. Outside the world. What if one day Demon Master Chenhuo was no longer around? The Flame Saint Realm would not hesitate to attack the Purple Blood Sect and destroy it, just like how it had destroyed the Purple Star Demon Sect. No one can say for sure what will happen in the future. At least now that you're here, the Flame Saint Realm won't dare to act recklessly, Jianghu Shuang said. Well, that's the only way to think about it. Demon Master Chenhuo nodded slightly, then he said seriously, Heavenly Sword Marquis, the Purple Blood Sect has just been rebuilt, and there's a lot of work to be done. Right now the Purple Blood Sect needs me very much. I can't leave here in a short time, so I can't continue to be your guard. I expected that. Jianghu Shuang was not surprised. He was very clear about the current situation of the Purple Blood Sect. In the current Purple Blood Sect, other than Demon Master Chenhuo, only Skyheart Sword Saint and Invincible Saint could be considered an expert. The other disciples were mostly weak, so at this moment, Demon Master Chenhuo definitely could not leave this place. Not only now but also for a long time in the future. At least until the Purple Blood Sect's strength had grown to a certain level and they were able to protect themselves, he would not leave. Naturally, he would not be able to stay by his side anymore. Although I can't continue to stay by your side and be your guard, if you encounter any trouble in the future, you can still send me a message at any time. They'll be there immediately, Demon Master said. In that case, our previous agreement still stands, Jianghu Shuang said. Of course it does. Demon Master Chenhuo also nodded. Well, you can lead the Purple Blood Sect to grow up first. As for me, Jianghu Shuang frowned slightly. He did not know where he should go next. Back to the Temporal Temple? There was nothing for him to do in the Temporal Temple at the moment, so it did not matter whether he went back or not. If he continued to wander alone in the Divine Beginning Realm, there were few places in the Divine Beginning Realm that could have a great effect on him. Even if he wanted to improve his strength, he had to find a good place first. As if he had read Jianghu Shuang's mind, Marquis Duanyu suddenly said, My young friend, if you don't have a place to go for the time being, why don't you come with me to the Star Palace? To the Star Palace? Jianghu Shuang's eyes immediately lit up. Yes, when he first came into contact with the Star Palace in the Demon Realm, he had been curious about it. Especially after he found out that the founder of the Star Palace was Taoist Black God and had an inseparable relationship with the Seven-Star Mysterious Sect, he looked forward to the Star Palace even more. He had wanted to go to the Star Palace before, but now he was worried that he had nowhere to go. It was undoubtedly the best choice to go to the Star Palace at this time. Marquis Duanyu, I do want to visit the Star Palace now, but is it convenient? Jianghu Shuang asked. Yes, of course. Marquis Duanyu smiled and said, If you want, I can take you to the Star Palace now. Okay. Jianghu Shuang nodded. In that case, let's go now, Marquis Duanyu said. Goodbye, Chenhuo, Jianghu Shuang said to Demon Master Chenhuo and left with Marquis Duanyu. After leaving the Purple Blood Sect, Marquis Duanyu led Jianghu Shuang toward Star Palace. Both of them traveled very fast, especially Jianghu Shuang. Under the guidance of Marquis Duanyu, he teleported and spent 2 days in a near-chaotic void. Jianghu Shuang stood in the chaotic void and looked around with a frown. After a long while he spoke again, Marquis Duanyu, if I'm not wrong, this should be the edge of the Divine Beginning Realm, right? Yes. Marquis Duanyu nodded. As expected. Jianghu Shuang took a deep breath. He knew more about the Divine Beginning Realm than before. He was very clear that in the Divine Beginning Realm, other than some extremely strange places, only the edge of the divine beginning realm was chaotic. Since Marquis Duanyu had brought him here, Jian Wushuang had roughly guessed the location of the Star Palace. It seems that my previous guess was right. The Star Palace is not in the divine beginning realm but outside the realm. Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes slightly. Outside the realm, outside the divine beginning realm, was naturally the vast universe battlefield. Jian Wushuang had guessed it from the conversation between Marquis Duanyu and Axe One Master. Axe One Master had said that the three principals masters from Star Palace were too sensitive and could not wander around in the divine beginning realm. In addition, Marquis Duanyu, Axe One Master, and Star Saint Master were all powerful experts of the six void realms, but they were not famous in the divine beginning realm. Obviously, they had never been in the divine beginning realm, instead they had been staying in the universe battlefield. Since that was the case, the Star Palace was most likely located in the universe battlefield. Only by setting their headquarters in the universe battlefield could the three great saint realms do nothing to the Star Palace. After all, the three great saint realm masters of the three great saint realms were only supreme in the divine beginning realm. However, outside the divine beginning realm, without the support of the will of the heavenly Tao, any ruler-level expert could have easily killed all three of them. The edge of the divine beginning realm is just separated from the universe battlefield by a piece of primal chaos void. As long as we pass through this piece of primal chaos void, we can truly enter the universe battlefield. That place is the heaven of the strong, said Marquis Duanyu. Universe battlefield. Jian Wushuang could not help but clench his hands. He vaguely remembered that many years ago in the Endless Territories, he had seen Shui Bai's consciousness incarnation in the Blood North secret area. From Shui Bai's words, it was the first time he knew about the existence of the universe battlefield. Only then did he understand how vast this world was. The divine beginning realm was just a part of the universe. From that time on, he had been full of yearning for the universe battlefield. Unfortunately, his strength had not been enough before, so he was not qualified to go to the universe battlefield. But now his strength should be barely enough. My young friend, follow me. Let's go through the chaotic void first, Marquis Duanyu said. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly and followed Marquis Duanyu slowly. The chaotic void was very vast. Because they were in the chaotic void, there might be some dangers. Both Marquis Duanyu and Jian Wushuang were slow, so Jian Wushuang did not dare to use teleportation again. The journey was very peaceful. The two of them flew in the chaotic void for 5 days and finally passed through it. After passing through the chaotic void, Jian Wushuang stepped into the universe battlefield. Chapter 35:14. World Star, this is the vast universe? Jian Wushuang stood in the universe battlefield and looked up. What he saw was a vast dark void, which was boundless and infinite. In the center of the dark void, he could vaguely see some weak lights, which were faintly discernible like stars. Standing here, Jian Wushuang could clearly sense the great pressure coming from the surrounding void. This pressure originated from the universe origin. Previously, because Jian Wushuang had been staying in the divine beginning realm, with the obstruction of the divine beginning realm, he could not sense the pressure of the universe origin. But now that he was out of the divine beginning realm, he could clearly sense the pressure. This pressure is too strong. With such a strong pressure, ordinary people won't be able to survive in the universe, Jian Wushuang could not help saying. In the vast universe, the pressure from the universe origin is indeed very strong. Moreover, we are still at the edge of the universe, so the pressure from the universe origin is not too strong. However, if you want to go to the core of the universe in the future, the pressure from the universe origin will be even stronger, Marquis Duanyu said. It's because the universe origin is so powerful that ordinary cultivators can't move around in the universe. Those who can resist the pressure and move around in the universe are usually experts above the principal's master realm. Of course, you're only a saint, but you're stronger than most principal's masters. You can also move around in the universe. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. He also felt the pressure of the universe origin, which was extremely strong, but it did not affect his ability to walk in the universe. My young friend, turn around and look behind you, Marquis Duanyu suddenly said. Jian Wushuang turned around and immediately a huge object appeared in front of him. It was a huge and magnificent star. It was oval in shape and floated in the universe. The star was surrounded by a hazy chaotic airflow. Jian Wushuang stood in front of the star. Although he was some distance away from the star, he could still feel the vastness of the star. Is this the divine beginning realm? Jian Wushuang's eyes widened. Please keep reading on MYB0XN0VL, D0T, C0M. Yes, it's the divine beginning realm. Marquis Duanyu smiled. You've been in the divine beginning realm before, so you can't see its complete appearance. But now that you're out of the divine beginning realm and in the universe, you can see its original appearance clearly. In addition, although the divine beginning realm seems to be in front of you now, in fact, you're already very far away from it. Jian Wushuang could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. I didn't expect that the divine beginning realm would look like this, like an ordinary star. It's a star, but it's a world star that contains endless vitality and can give birth to living beings, Marquis Duanyu said. A world star. Jian Wushuang was puzzled. Marquis Duanyu immediately explained, the vast universe is vast and boundless. In this vast universe there are countless kinds of stars. These stars are divided into two types. One is a world star, which contains boundless life force and is extremely large. It can give birth to living beings and cultivators. The other type is the ordinary Earth star, which has no life force. Most of these Earth stars only have a piece of land and nothing else. Many times, these Earth stars are occupied by some forces in the universe and then transformed into strongholds and bases. The world star and the Earth star are very common in the universe. In addition, because of their size and their cultivation environment, the world stars in the universe are divided into several levels. World stars are divided into levels? Jian Wushuang's expression changed. World stars are divided into level 1, level 2, and level 3. Among them, level 3 world stars are the most common. For example, the divine beginning realm is an ordinary level 3 world star. It doesn't give birth to many experts. Since the birth of the divine beginning realm, there have only been a few ruler-level experts. Second-grade world stars have much greater potential than third-grade world stars. Naturally, they give birth to more experts. Let's compare the divine beginning realm. If first-grade and second-grade world stars were born at the same time as the divine beginning realm, then this second-grade world star has already given birth to more than 20 rulers or even more. More than 20 rulers? Jian Wushuang was shocked. They were born at the same time, but there were so many more masters in a second-grade world star than in a third-grade world star? It was obvious that the cultivation environment in a second-grade world star was much stronger than a third-grade world star. What about a first-grade world star? Jian Wushuang asked again. A first-grade world star is even more amazing. It is said that in the vast universe, as long as a first-grade world star is born for a period of time, the experts in it can easily rule a great territory in the universe battlefield and become an overlord. Even in the deepest part of the universe, no one dares to underestimate the power of a first-grade world star, Marquis Duanyu said. Jian Wushuang sighed in his heart. A second-class world star was much stronger than the divine beginning realm, and a first-class world star with even greater potential was naturally even more terrifying. In addition, there is a legend in the universe that there is an eternal world star in the deepest part of the universe, which is above the first-class world star. The eternal world star is the true ruler of the universe. Marquis Duanyu added. There is an eternal world star? Jian Wushuang was stunned. He had little knowledge of the universe before, but today he had an eye-opening experience. For the current him, even if the divine beginning realm was relatively vast, he still could not stand at the top of the divine beginning realm. The second-grade and first-grade world stars that were stronger than the divine beginning realm, there were even the legendary eternal world stars which were too far away for him now. Marquis Duanyu, are there any world stars above the second class near the divine beginning realm? Jian Wushuang suddenly asked. Well, Marquis Duanyu's expression changed. He said, the divine beginning realm is located in a relatively remote and marginal part of the universe. Because it's far away from the universe, the level of the world stars in the universe are very low. Most of them are third-class world stars. For example, the dozens of world stars that are known near the divine beginning realm are only third-class world stars. Some of them have been born for a long time, some of them have been born for a short time, and they have given birth to many experts. Chapter 35:15, Chaos Cycle. If we are talking about a second-class world star, I have heard of one. However, it is too far away from us. It would take tens of thousands of years to get to the divine beginning realm from there, Marquis Duanyu said. Jian Wushuang was shocked. It would take tens of thousands of years to get there, and it was at least the speed of an expert above the principal's master realm. Jian Wushuang could not help but sigh at the vastness of the universe. By the way, Marquis Duanyu, you said that among these third-grade world stars, there is only a difference in the length of their birth. Is there a big difference between the length of their birth and the length of their birth? Jian Wushuang asked. Of course there is a difference, and the difference is huge, Marquis Duanyu said. My dear Heavenly Marquis, first of all, you should know that the world stars do not exist eternally. They are like a person's lifespan. After they are born, they will slowly grow and become stronger. However, when a world star is at its peak, it will turn from prosperity to decline and eventually destroy. Destroyed? Jian Wushuang widened his eyes. You mean the divine beginning realm will be destroyed in the future? Of course, not to mention the divine beginning realm, which is a third-grade world star. Even a second-grade or first-grade world star will be destroyed. However, the lifespan of a second-grade or first-grade world star is far longer than that of a third-grade world star, Marquis Duanyu said. In the vast universe there is a definition of time. It is the process of a third-grade sector star being born and destroyed. It is known as a chaos cycle. This definition of time may seem very simple, but a chaos cycle is an incredibly long period of time. For example, the divine beginning realm has probably been in existence for close to 10 billion years now. However, in reality, if one were to look at age compared to the other third-grade sector stars, the divine beginning realm is still very young. It is still very far away from destruction. However, because the divine beginning realm is still very young, there are not many experts. As time passes, the divine beginning realm will continue to grow and more experts will be born. At the end of the divine beginning realm's lifespan, there will be at least a dozen rulers in the divine beginning realm. A third-grade world star can give birth to more than a dozen rulers at the end of its growth? According to you, there are many rulers in this universe, right? Jian Wushuang exclaimed. He had just heard from Marquis Duanyu that there were dozens of third-grade world stars around the divine beginning realm. Although these dozens of world stars had not been nurtured to the end, even when they were in their prime, they could still give birth to many rulers. When these sector stars were added up, the number of rulers would be very exaggerated. It's like this. In the vast universe, principles masters are everywhere. As for ruler-level great beings, if they are in the territory near the divine beginning realm, they are actually quite rare. Don't look at how there are many sector stars nearby and how many ruler-level great beings have been born. However, in reality, many of these ruler-level great beings have died while adventuring in the universe battlefield. Most of the rulers are unwilling to live in this marginal region. Therefore, after becoming rulers, they directly went into the depths of the universe. There are actually not many who are truly willing to stay in this marginal region. In fact, there are only about 30 known master-level experts in the territory of the divine beginning realm. More master-level experts have already gone to the depths of the universe. However, it seems that none of the master-level experts born in the divine beginning realm have gone to the depths of the universe. Instead, they have all stayed, Marquis Duanyu said. Oh. Jian Wushuang's expression changed. That's strange. Most of the ruler-level experts born in other world stars choose to travel to the depths of the universe, but why aren't there any ruler-level experts from the divine beginning realm? I don't know. Maybe there are some special reasons, Marquis Duanyu said. Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes slightly. After hearing Marquis Duanyu's words, Jian Wushuang indeed felt that it was a little strange. My little friend, I've told you about the world star. Now follow me to the Star Palace, Marquis Duanyu said. Okay. Jian Wushuang nodded. Then Jian Wushuang followed Marquis Duanyu to the Star Palace. The two of them were moving rapidly in the dark void of the universe. Although they were constantly suppressed by the universe origin, it did not affect their speed much. However, they were in the universe void after all. Jian Wushuang did not dare to use teleportation. There were countless dangers in the vast universe. If they teleported in the void of the universe, it was very likely that they would fall into these dangers and be doomed. Even if they were lucky enough not to fall into these dangerous places, however, if they did not grasp it well and teleported to an unfamiliar void, they would also be lost and waste more time. A month passed by in the blink of an eye. Marquis Duanyu, we've been traveling in the void for a month, but we haven't reached the Star Palace yet? Jian Wushuang asked with a strange expression. Haha, my dear Heavenly Sword Marquis, this is not the divine beginning realm. In the vast universe, 100 years or 1,000 years is nothing. After all, the universe is too big. Even if we set off from the divine beginning realm at the speed of a principles master, it will take us more than 100 years to get there. Although our Star Palace is not too far from the divine beginning realm, it would take at least several decades to travel at the speed of a principles master, Marquis Duanyu said with a smile. Several decades? Jian Wushuang was stunned. Marquis Duanyu smiled and said, but don't worry. Our Star Palace is a well-known force in this territory, especially because it has an extraordinary relationship with the divine beginning realm. Therefore, the Star Palace has set up a hidden universe passage on an uninhabited Earth star on the way. Through this universe passage, we can directly reach the vicinity of the Star Palace. However, we are still several days away from the location of the Earth star. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang shrugged and continued to sneak. After another 6 days, Marquis Duanyu finally came to an Earth star with Jian Wushuang. Earth star was different from World star. It was a piece of land floating in the universe. Moreover, the land was not big and it was lifeless. Marquis Duanyu came to the center of the Earth star and stopped in front of a concave stone wall. Jian Wushuang also came here and looked at the stone wall in front of him. On the stone wall there was a special pattern made of secret patterns. Chapter 35:16. Inside the Star Palace, Marquis Duanyu stood under the special pattern and waved his hand, throwing a token toward the special pattern. When the token was about to touch the pattern seemed to come alive, swallowing the token in one gulp. After a while it was spat out again. At the same time, a layer of gray light slowly emerged from the special pattern, and an ancient aura spread out from it. Buzz buzz buzz. The stone wall vibrated and the pattern began to evolve. In just a moment, a dark and boundless passage appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. This is the universe passage? Jian Wushuang looked at the passage in front of him in surprise. He felt that the universe passage was much more stable than the spatial passages he had seen in the divine beginning realm. In the depths of the universe passage, there was an aura that frightened Jian Wushuang. The principle of the universe passage is actually the same as the space passages in the divine beginning realm. It's just that the vast universe space is much more stable than the divine beginning realm. The pressure of the universe origin is also very strong. To set up a universe passage in the vast universe is countless times more difficult than setting up a space passage in the divine beginning realm. For example, my star palace once spent a lot of money to set up this universe passage. The most important thing is that the distance between the star palace and the Earth star is not too far. It takes a principal's master dozens of years to reach the star palace so the universe passage can be set up. However, if the distance is too far, for example, the universe passage from one world star to another, it will be very difficult to set up. Even if the entire star palace works hard, it will be very difficult to set up such a universe passage, Marquis Duanyu said. Is that so? Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. The universe passage has been opened. My dear heavenly sword Marquis, please follow me. After saying that, Marquis Duanyu directly entered the universe passage. Jian Wushuang did not hesitate and immediately followed him. Through the universe passage, Jian Wushuang and Marquis Duanyu came to the vicinity of Star Palace. My dear heavenly sword Marquis, look, that's Star Palace. Marquis Duanyu pointed to a floating land in front of them. This floating land was a small Earth star. However, this Earth star had been occupied by the Star Palace a long time ago, and it had been modified by the Star Palace. It indeed looked different from an ordinary Earth star. In the vast universe, many forces will occupy some Earth stars as their nest, and our Star Palace is no exception. Marquis Duanyu smiled and then led Jian Wushuang directly to the Earth star where the Star Palace was located. This Earth star was very small, and its area was not as large as a small territory in the divine beginning realm. However, it was more than enough to be the lairs of a force. In the dark void around the Earth star, Jian Wushuang could vaguely see some faint golden thunderbolts flashing from time to time. Any of these faint golden thunderbolts gave Jian Wushuang a feeling of destruction. There is a special formation around the Earth star. It seems that the level of this formation is extraordinary. It should have reached the level of the Earth Saint realm, right? Jian Wushuang asked. You're right. After all, the Earth star is the nest of the Star Palace. The sect-protecting formation cannot be careless. It is indeed an Earth Saint realm formation, and it is not weak among the Earth Saint realm formations. Usually, the formation maintains normal operation. Even if 3 or 5 masters come at once, the formation can easily resist them. In a life-or-death battle, Star Palace will activate the formation regardless of the consequences. At that time, the formation will not only be able to resist the attacks of several masters, but it will also be able to kill the masters. Marquis Duanyu said. Kill the masters? So powerful? Jian Wushuang was secretly shocked. My young friend, what I just said is actually a secret in Star Palace. Only the experts at the highest level of Star Palace are qualified to know about it. However, your relationship with Star Palace is quite delicate, so it's okay to know about it. However, you must not tell others about it. After all, it's a killer move of Star Palace. If the enemy forces know about it, it will have a big impact, Marquis Duanyu said. Understood. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. Let's go in first. With Marquis Duanyu's guidance, Jian Wushuang entered the Star Palace without any obstacles. There were also many buildings in the Star Palace, which were very strange in shape and were very different from the divine beginning realm. As they flew through the Star Palace, Jianghu could also sense the obscure aura coming from the surrounding buildings. Along the way they also met other cultivators. Some of them even came up to greet them. "Marquis Duanyu, you're finally back. I've been waiting for you here for a long time." A burly middle-aged man with a height of more than 2 meters came up to Marquis Duanyu. "Oh, Heavy Master?" Marquis Duanyu's expression changed and then he said with a smile, "You're here for your brother, right?" "Yes, my brother has been trapped there for some time, and his situation is getting more and more dangerous. If I don't find a way to break the formation and save him, my life will be in danger at any time," Heavy Master said anxiously. "I know, don't worry. I'll go with you after I've settled the young friend behind me," Marquis Duanyu said. "The young man behind you?" The Heavy Master immediately looked at Jianghu. However, when he saw Jianghu, his expression immediately became strange. "Is he a saint? A saint actually came to the universe battlefield?" "Heavy Master, although the young man behind me is only a saint, his status is extraordinary. In terms of strength, I'm afraid you're not his match," Marquis Duanyu said. "I'm not his match? Marquis Duanyu, are you kidding?" Heavy Master laughed. This was normal. Heavy Master was a principal's master at the peak of the Void Fourth Realm and had cultivated a special secret skill. Even if he met an expert of the Void Fifth Realm, he could still fight. But Jianghu was obviously just an immortal saint. The Heavy Master had never been to the Divine Beginning Realm and had never heard of Heavenly Sword Marquis name. Naturally, he subconsciously felt that a saint was not that strong. "You'll know whether it's a joke or not in the future. But now, if you want me to hurry up and save your brother, you'd better step aside," Marquis Duanyu said. Of course. The Heavy Master laughed dryly and immediately stepped aside. Jianghu looked at the Heavy Master with interest and then continued to follow Marquis Duanyu. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.